Chapter 1916. After the meal, Yang Ming and the three women were ready to leave, but Lu Weishan said, "Big Ming, after you send Meng Yan and the others back, can you come back and stay here at night?" This. Yang Ming was stunned. He didn't expect Lu Weishan to ask him to stay here. However, Chen Mengyan didn't feel anything. In this way, she felt that Yang Ming should have told Lu Weishan that he was going to perform a mission. Lu Weishan naturally knew that Yang Ming might not come back for a long time, so he asked him to stay and accompany the two elders. After all, Lu Weishan was already more than 60 years old this year. If Yang Ming didn't come back for 10 or 20 years, then it was hard to say whether Lu Weishan could still see Yang Ming. Therefore, although Chen Mengyan was reluctant, she also wanted to be close to Yang Ming at night. But she thought that she was only 19 years old, and Lu Weishan was more than 60 years old. Even if Yang Ming didn't come back for 20 years, she was only 39 years old. To put it bluntly, it was hard to say whether Lu Weishan could live to that age. "Yang Ming, we can drive back by ourselves. It's just opposite the school. It's very close. You don't have to send us back." After thinking about this, Chen Mengyan smiled and said to Yang Ming, "You should stay here and accompany godfather and godmother." "This, okay." Yang Ming raised his head and glanced at Lu Weishan. When he saw the smile in Lu Weishan's eyes, his heart suddenly moved. Could it be that godfather let me stay because of Xiaoqing? Thinking of this possibility, Yang Ming's heart beat faster. "Then that's it. Jiyun, Jejia, and I will go back first. See you tomorrow." Chen Mengyan was afraid that Yang Ming would regret, so she pulled Lin Jiyun and Zhou Jejia out of the room and went downstairs. "Be careful. Call me when you get home," Yang Ming said. "Don't worry, it's very close." Chen Mengyan was telling the truth. This was the school's residential area, and there were 24-hour security guards. There wouldn't be any problems at all. As for the Huashang district, it was directly facing the school gate. It was only a 5-minute drive away. There were also security guards in the community, so there wouldn't be any problems. After Chen Mengyan, Lin Jiyun, and Zhou Jejia left, Yang Ming wanted to speak, but Lu Weishan spoke first. "Big Ming, are you and Qing staying here or going to Qing's apartment?" Although Lu Weishan had already told Yang Ming about him and Xiaoqing, at this moment, in front of Chu Huifang and Xiaoqing, it still made Yang Ming somewhat embarrassed. As for Xiaoqing, she also widened her eyes. She was so shocked that she couldn't speak. She looked at Lu Weishan inconceivably. After a while, she said, "Dad, what did you say?" Xiaoqing didn't believe what Yang Ming said before. She thought that Yang Ming was just joking and didn't take it seriously. But at this moment, when she heard Lu Weishan say it, Xiaoqing knew that Yang Ming didn't lie to her before, but Lu Weishan really knew about her and Yang Ming. Chu Huifang obviously knew about this matter long ago, so she wasn't surprised at this time. "Big Ming has something to tell you. Let him tell you himself." Lu Weishan waved his hand and didn't explain so much. Instead, he said, "I also have something to tell your godmother. We will go back to the room first. You can decide whether you want to stay here or go out." As Lu Weishan said this, he took Chu Huifang to the bedroom. Only Yang Ming and Xiaoqing were left in the living room. Dad really knew? Xiaoqing stared at Yang Ming with hatred. Her face was as red as a big apple. "Yeah, I guess it may be that we were careless and let him see some clues," Yang Ming said with a bitter smile, "but Qing, you don't have to be embarrassed. Godfather means that he agrees with us being together. He is an open-minded person. Of course, I know this. If he didn't agree, he wouldn't say this." Xiaoqing stomped her feet angrily like a little girl who was caught in love by her parents. "But how embarrassed am I? I wasn't mentally prepared at all. It's really because of you. Why didn't you remind me in advance?" "I have something to remind you first. Just now when you were changing clothes, but you didn't take it seriously. You can't blame me for this, right? Yang Ming shrugged and said. You. Xiao Qing was even more annoyed. Yang Ming did tell her, but who knew that what he said was true? Hee, didn't Godfather go back to the room? Maybe he was afraid that we would be embarrassed, so he deliberately left some space for us. Yang Ming said, let's go, Qing Qing. I really have something to tell you. Let's not talk about it in the living room. Where are we going? Xiao Qing was also somewhat helpless. Since things had come to this point, she could only accept it. Fortunately, Lu Weishan didn't blame them. Instead, he had a supportive attitude, which made Xiao Qing's heart feel more comfortable. Let's go to your apartment. There are some words that are inconvenient to say here. Yang Ming lowered his voice and whispered to Xiao Qing. What words? Inconvenient? Humph. Xiao Qing's face suddenly turned red. Apparently, she misunderstood Yang Ming's meaning. She thought that Yang Ming was talking about the sound of two people making love. Naturally, she was too embarrassed. You will know when we go there. Yang Ming saw Xiao Qing's appearance and knew that she had misunderstood, but he didn't explain it because it wouldn't be clear if he explained it here. It was better to go to Xiao Qing's place and talk about it slowly. After all, Yang Ming was ready to tell the truth to Xiao Qing. If he said it here, it wouldn't be good if Chu Huifang heard it. Lu Weishan must have told her another version. Xiao Qing was pushed out of the door by Yang Ming half-heartedly. They went downstairs and went to Xiao Qing's own small apartment. When they returned to Xiao Qing's small apartment, the two people didn't need to talk too much. They hugged each other. When Xiao Qing went upstairs, she was reluctant, but when the door was closed, the flame of passion was ignited in an instant. Lu Weishan's approval made Xiao Qing's heart no longer have any burden. As for whether she could be approved by Chen Mengyan, Xiao Qing felt that it wasn't important. There was nothing wrong with being Yang Ming's lover, but if Lu Weishan didn't approve, Xiao Qing would be a bit embarrassed. Because for Xiao Qing, there were four most important people in this life. The first two were her godfather, Lu Weishan, and her godmother, Chu Huifang. Xiao Qing cared about their feelings very much. She couldn't bear to let them be sad and disappointed. The third person was Yang Ming, who could be said to be the love of Xiao Qing's life. The fourth person was her good friend, Sun Jia. Sun Jia was going to be with her and Yang Ming. Xiao Qing didn't have any burden in her heart at this point. Chapter 1917. Now that both godfather and godmother agreed, Xiao Qing was naturally very happy. This day could be said to be one of the happiest days in her life, so Xiao Qing was also very excited. She rarely took the initiative when she was with Yang Ming. When the two were completely quiet, Xiao Qing said with some blame, "Tell me, how did Dad find out about our relationship?" "This. I don't know." Yang Ming shook his head and said, "But Qing Qing, let's talk first." Talk? Xiao Qing was slightly stunned. Previously, Yang Ming said that he had something to say to her and wanted to go to her apartment. It was not convenient to say it in Lu Weishan's house. Xiao Qing thought that Yang Ming was referring to what they did just now, but Yang Ming mentioned it again, which made Xiao Qing somewhat puzzled. "What do you want to talk about? Do you really have something to say?" "Qing Qing, I naturally have something to say to you. Otherwise, what do you think?" Yang Ming looked at Xiao Qing and said with a smile. What can I think?" Xiao Qing suddenly felt that she was more like a little girl in front of Yang Ming. She didn't speak as naturally as before. It was as if Yang Ming was the elder brother and she was the younger sister. "Your thoughts are not pure. How would I know what you think?" Yang Ming made a joke. "I didn't. Let's not talk about this. You said that you have something to tell me?" Xiao Qing changed the topic. She didn't want to continue on this topic because this topic was very embarrassing. Xiao Qing felt that her face was a little hot. I do have something to say." Yang Ming nodded and restored his expression. "Qing Qing, I was at school today. You heard what I said to Vice Principal Sue, right? What I want to say is this. You mean the matter of you being a military person? Xiao Qing said until here. She snorted and said, you are still hiding it from me. Why didn't you tell me before? Sister Xiao Qing, this matter used to be confidential because I am not an ordinary military person. My real identity is an agent. Yang Ming hesitated and said, my first military ID is just a cover for my identity. It is used for outsiders to see. The Supernatural Investigation Bureau ID is my real identity. Ah. That is an agent's ID? Xiao Qing widened her eyes in surprise. She never thought that Yang Ming was actually an agent. In that case, it was reasonable for Yang Ming to hide his identity because the identity of an agent couldn't be easily shown to others. After all, it involved in some confidential things. Xiao Qing also understood. In that case, why did you take this ID today? Is it just to deter Vice Principal Sue? You know that if you want to deter him, a military ID is. Even if I don't take it out, my superiors will inform the school. Yang Ming smiled bitterly. Because this time, I have to say it. 3 days later, I will embark on a journey to Yunnan to perform a special mission. You haven't performed a mission before? Xiao Qing was slightly stunned. I have done it before, but this time is different. Yang Ming smiled bitterly. So before I leave, I will tell you all these things. Do you mean that the mission this time is very dangerous? Xiao Qing widened her eyes and thought of a terrible possibility. Compared to the previous one, there is naturally some danger, but it is not very dangerous. Yang Ming shrugged and said with a smile. Yang Ming, you lied to me. Xiao Qing shook her head. You didn't lie to me before. You even told me about your special abilities. How did you learn to lie now? Xiao Qing stared at Yang Ming and said word by word. Qing. Yang Ming was a little embarrassed by Xiao Qing. Well, I admit, it is very dangerous. How dangerous is it? Xiao Qing asked with a serious expression. This, I can't say because I don't know the specifics. I don't even know the direction and execution of the mission. I need to explore it. Yang Ming said, only the unknown is the most terrible. Yeah, the unknown is the most terrible, but I don't understand. Why do you have to go? Can't others go? You're just a first-year student. What's going on in your head's mind? Why are you sent to perform this kind of mission? Xiao Qing frowned. Is it to let you experience it? I am the leader. After Yang Ming listened to Xiao Qing's words, he couldn't help but explain with a bitter smile, it is because of my special ability that I became the trump card of our special task force. And my skill is also top-notch, so I was chosen to perform this mission. Xiao Qing looked at Yang Ming and suddenly found that she didn't know him. Is this still the Yang Ming that I used to know very well? Why do I seem to not understand him? He still has so many things that I don't know. When did he become an agent? When did he start to perform some dangerous missions? Yang Ming, you have changed a lot during this time. I don't understand you anymore. Xiao Qing sighed faintly and looked at Yang Ming and said. Qing, no matter how much I have changed, my feelings for you are still real. It's just that I didn't say these things before. On the one hand, it was to keep it a secret. On the other hand, I was afraid that you would be worried about me. Because I can deal with the previous missions, and I am confident that I can complete them successfully. Yang Ming said, only this time, I don't have much confidence, so I am being honest with you. I can also give you an explanation before I leave. Well, Yang Ming, I believe what you said is true. Xiao Qing nodded. This time, I also know that since you decided to say it, you are not sure that you can come back. You are saying goodbye to us, right? Qing, how can you not believe me? Although the mission is very dangerous, I am also very powerful, okay? My luck is also super good. Yang Ming said, if this is in a web novel, then I am the protagonist. There is a famous web author who contacted me a while ago to write a novel about my experience. If I can't come back, what is he going to write? Xiaoqing laughed out loud. You are still the protagonist? Write a novel? Does that mean that he will write 8 or 10 wives for you? How can 8 or 10 wives be enough? I have already agreed with the author that I have to write at least 15 wives. Yang Ming said with a smile. Then, is there Shao Jia and me? Xiaoqing glared at Yang Ming and asked snappily. Chapter 1918. Of course, there will be. How can there not be you? Yang Ming said, not only will there be you, but you will also be written as the first wife. You're just kidding me. Xiaoqing naturally didn't believe it. But this matter, did you tell Chen Mengyan and the others? No, I only told my godfather, Chen Mengyan. I just said that I have to perform a more complicated task. The shortest is 1.5 years, and the longest is 10 or 20 years. They don't know that this task is dangerous. They just think that this task is a protracted battle. Yang Ming shook his head and said, they are still too young. They can't bear it. I'm afraid that telling them will hurt them. That's true. If you say so, what will they do in the future? They will definitely live in fear every day. Even if they don't worry about you all the time, they will be depressed. Xiaoqing nodded and said, the most important thing is that after you say it, they will do whatever it takes to keep you here. They won't let you go. That's right. Yang Ming said, but these things have to be told to them sooner or later. It's a matter of sooner or later. Do Shao Jia and Zhao know about this? Xiaoqing asked suddenly. Ying knows, but I haven't told Shao Jia yet. I'm going to tell her tomorrow. Yang Ming said. Don't wait until tomorrow. Let's do it tonight. Xiaoqing shook her head. Shao Jia has classes tomorrow. She returned to Songjiang City tonight. I will call her and ask her to come over. That is fine too. Yang Ming thought that the relationship between Xiaoqing and Sun Jia was very close. If he called Sun Jia, it wouldn't affect him and Xiaoqing. He didn't know if there were other things tomorrow, so Yang Ming agreed. After Xiaoqing got Yang Ming's approval, she called Sun Jia. Sun Jia was indeed in Songjiang City as Xiaoqing guessed, but she had fallen asleep at the moment. When she received Xiaoqing's call, she complained in a daze, Qing, what are you doing? Why are you calling me so late? You're already asleep? Can you come to my place? Xiaoqing didn't expect Sun Jia to sleep so early, but when she glanced at the time on the phone, she couldn't help but smile bitterly. Previously, when she was entangled with Yang Ming, she forgot the time. When she came back from Lu Weishan's place, it was only 9:00 in the evening. Now, it was already 1:00 in the morning. Sun Jia was naturally asleep, so there was nothing strange about it. Go to your place? What for? Sun Jia asked with some doubts. Yang Ming is with me. I have something to tell you. Xiaoqing said. Yang Ming? At your place? Sun Jia was slightly stunned, but she instantly thought of a possibility. He is with you. Why are you still looking for me? I'm not going. I'm too tired. There's a traffic jam on the highway today. My body is about to fall apart. I can't take it anymore. Ah. Xiaoqing heard Sun Jia's words and suddenly blushed. It seemed that Sun Jia had misunderstood my meaning. She thought that I called her to do something with Yang Ming. It seemed that Sun Jia and I had the same initial idea. It was all a misunderstanding. Okay. I'm going to sleep. I'm so sleepy. Thank you for your kindness. Call me next time. I really can't do it today. I can't drive the car. Sun Jia said tiredly, I'm hanging up. Wait. Don't hang up. Xiaoqing was a little anxious and said quickly. However, there were a few call disconnected prompts on the phone in Xiaoqing's hand. Sun Jia had obviously hung up the phone. Xiaoqing couldn't help it. She could only call again, but after 2 rings, it was cut off by Sun Jia. Xiaoqing had to call again, but this time, there was a power-off prompt, this Sun Jia. Xiaoqing shook her head helplessly. She actually hung up the phone directly without waiting for me to finish speaking. What should we do? Yang Ming also asked with a bitter smile. After all, as Xiaoqing said, there might be other things tomorrow. Yang Ming didn't know if there would be a chance to meet Sun Jia. Let's go over. Xiaoqing had no other way. Let's go to her apartment to find her. That's the only way. Yang Ming nodded. But my car was driven back by Meng Yan. Do you have a car? I drive my dad's car, but it's too late today. I can't go back to get the key. Xiaoqing shook her head. I'll call the driver to come over. Although Yang Ming didn't want to trouble little Wang, there was still a long distance between the school's family area and the school gate. He could only stop a taxi there. There were no taxis here. After receiving Yang Ming's call, little Wang happily agreed. This made Yang Ming relieved. Yang Ming didn't want his men to complain, but now it seemed that little Wang was still very willing to serve him. It was not far from where little Wang lived. Because it was convenient for Yang Ming to use the car, the Ming Yang Entertainment Group gave little Wang a house nearby. Although the property of the house was still owned by the company, it was to let little Wang and his girlfriend live for free after the renovation. That was to say, as long as he was still Yang Ming's driver, he would not move out of this house. In fact, Yang Ming used little Wang very well, and he didn't intend to fire him. Even if he left, Yang Ming didn't intend to fire little Wang after he went to Yunnan. At that time, little Wang could still be the driver for Jing Xiaolu and her father. Yang Ming and Xiaoqing got in the car together. Little Wang knew Xiaoqing and knew that Xiaoqing was Yang Ming's godsister. But even if he didn't know her, he wouldn't say anything. Little Wang was not a talkative person. Little Wang didn't ask about Yang Ming's private life. This was also the reason why Yang Ming liked to use little Wang. Although Yang Ming usually didn't do anything out of line in front of little Wang, he would take different girls in the car. Little Wang obviously pretended not to see it. He didn't even have a surprised expression. Yang Ming told little Wang the address of Sun Jia's apartment. Little Wang nodded, started the car, and drove quickly to Sun Jia's apartment. When they arrived at the door of Sun Jia's apartment, Yang Ming asked little Wang to leave. After all, Sun Jia also had a car, and more than one. She didn't need little Wang's car tomorrow morning. However, little Wang still asked before leaving, Brother Yang, when do you need me to pick you up? No need. I will drive back by myself tomorrow. Yang Ming waved his hand. If I need you, I will contact you again. That's fine. I will always have my phone turned on. You can call me at any time. Little Wang nodded and said. Chapter 1919. After little Wang left, Yang Ming took Xiaoqing's hand. Although he was about to leave, Xiaoqing was still his god-sister in front of outsiders. Yang Ming couldn't be very intimate directly. These things had to be done little by little to be accepted. When they came to the door of Sun Jia's room, Xiaoqing rang the doorbell. Sun Jia had just fallen asleep when she heard the sound of the doorbell. She couldn't help but be annoyed. Who is knocking at the door in the middle of the night? I finally returned to Songjiang City to stay for a night, and someone came to the door. Could it be that the people from the property company are asking for the fee? It's impossible. The house I live in is developed by my company. Although the property company is contracted to the Ming Yang Company, the property manager also knows that I have a close relationship with Yang Ming. Even if they are looking for me, there is no reason to knock at the door in the middle of the night. Although Sun Jia didn't want to get up, the doorbell kept ringing. Sun Jia really had no choice. She could only put on her pajamas and go to the door of the room. She looked out from the peephole and asked, "Who is it?" "Xiao Jia, it's me." "Open the door," said Xiao-Qing. "Ah." "Qing." Sun Jia heard the sound outside the door and couldn't help but be stunned. She looked carefully. It was really Xiao-Qing and Yang Ming. They were standing at the door. Sun Jia was really a little helpless. Why did they come after I rejected them? Logically, with Xiao-Qing's character, she wouldn't agree with the three of them having sex together. Although there had been such a situation, it was also under the cooperation of Yang Ming and me. Why is Xiao-Qing so proactive today? But although she was puzzled, Sun Jia still opened the door. They were already here. She couldn't stop them from coming in, right? Why did you really come? I have already fallen asleep. Sun Jia rubbed her sleepy eyes and complained in a daze. Because the people who came were Yang Ming and Xiao-Qing, they weren't outsiders, so Sun Jia was too lazy to wear her pajamas. Her huge chest was directly exposed to the air, and she didn't cover it. Xiao-Qing saw Sun Jia's appearance and couldn't help but find it funny. "You wear this at home? Aren't you shy? Why should I pretend to be pure in front of you?" Sun Jia didn't care at all. "Even if you put it on, don't you have to take it off later? Rather than go through so much trouble, it's better not to wear it." "Hee, that's true." Yang Ming nodded and agreed. "I say, the two of you didn't come here in the middle of the night just to do that to me, right? You guys are really addicted." Sun Jia sat back on the bed helplessly and stretched. "I'm so sleepy." "Xiao Jia, you misunderstood. We are looking for you for something." Xiao-Qing was a little dumbfounded. "Otherwise, why do you think the two of us would team up to look for you? Is there really something?" Sun Jia looked at Xiao-Qing in disbelief. "It's so late. What's the matter? Can't we talk tomorrow? This matter is very important. I think it is better to let you know as soon as possible." Xiao-Qing nodded and said very solemnly. Sun Jia saw that Xiao-Qing's expression was very serious. She didn't look like she was joking at all. She believed most of it. "What the hell happened? You put on your clothes first. Your chest is making me a little dizzy." Xiao-Qing looked at Sun Jia's naked body and reprimanded her with some embarrassment. "It's not like you haven't seen it before." "Who hasn't seen it before?" Sun Jia snorted. "I don't want to wear it. It's so troublesome. I'm under the quilt, and you can't see it." As Sun Jia said this, she pulled a quilt and covered her body. Qing, let's lie on the bed and talk. I'm also very tired. Let's not stand." Yang Ming was a little tempted before. When he saw Sun Jia get into the quilt, he was a little unwilling, so he shamelessly suggested. "Yang Ming, we're talking about serious business. Can't you be more serious? When you were talking to me just now, you didn't mess up." Xiao-Qing glared at Yang Ming, but she ignored the fact that when Yang Ming told her that, it was after the end, not in the current situation. Yang Ming ignored Xiao-Qing's words. He took off his clothes directly, went to Sun Jia's bed, opened her quilt, got in directly, and hugged Sun Jia from behind. Sun Jia didn't resist. Instead, she enjoyed this feeling. Her face couldn't help but blush. Xiao-Qing really wanted to scold Sun Jia. "What time is it? Why are you still being coquettish?" However, she couldn't scold her. She also knew that this was Sun Jia's normal reaction. She sighed and said, "Why don't you two talk first? I'll go to the bathroom for a while." Qing, you come too. I'm a little tired now. I don't want to do anything. Don't you have something to tell me? Let's talk about it first." Sun Jia felt that Yang Ming didn't continue to do bad things. He just hugged her quietly, so she spoke to Xiao-Qing. Xiao-Qing hesitated. She wanted to refuse because she felt that it was ridiculous for her and Sun Jia to take off their clothes and hug Yang Ming together. However, when she thought that Yang Ming would leave in 3 days. No, it should be 2 days later, Xiaoqing's heart softened. Okay, I'll change into my pajamas. Xiaoqing nodded and said. Sun Jia also had Xiaoqing's pajamas, but even if there weren't, Sun Jia had a lot of pajamas. With the initial relationship between Xiaoqing and Sun Jia, there was nothing wrong with the two of them wearing pajamas together. No one would dislike the other, and now it was even more so. What are you changing for? Little Jia is right. Who hasn't seen each other? Just come up directly. Yang Ming saw that Xiaoqing was going to change into her pajamas, so he also spoke. Xiaoqing gritted her teeth and finally agreed. However, she went to bed after turning off the lights in the room. Okay, Qing, Yang Ming, what do you want to tell me? At this moment, Sun Jia also felt that the two people must have something to say to her, so she asked. Let Yang Ming tell you personally. Xiaoqing pushed Yang Ming and said. Alright, I'll say it myself. Yang Ming felt that it was better to say these things personally, so he also told Sun Jia what he said to Xiaoqing before. Sun Jia was also a mature woman, and she had experienced many dangers, so she wouldn't be very reluctant to accept what Yang Ming was about to do. However, after Yang Ming finished speaking, Sun Jia was still shocked, but she didn't ask Yang Ming if he couldn't go. With Sun Jia's cleverness, she wouldn't have thought that this question must have been asked by Xiaoqing. Since Xiaoqing had asked and brought Yang Ming to talk to her about this matter, it meant that this matter was definitely finalized and couldn't be changed, so Sun Jia didn't ask so much. Chapter 1920. Be careful. Qing and I will wait for you to come back and continue to have a threesome. Sun Jia hesitated for a while before she said a very bold sentence. While Yang Ming was a little dumbfounded, the atmosphere of the whole room suddenly became lively again. Although Xiaoqing was also speechless about Sun Jia's bold behavior, Sun Jia's words were actually an expression of her love for Yang Ming, so Xiaoqing didn't say too much. She just said shyly, "You don't know how to behave properly?" "What are you talking about?" "In fact, Xiao Jia is right." "I think so too." With her words, "I have to come back no matter what." Yang Ming smiled. "See? Am I the one who understands Yang Ming?" Sun Jia said with some pride. Okay. You understand him, okay?" Xiaoqing had no choice but to nod and admit it. Of course. Sun Jia was also not sleepy because of Yang Ming and Xiaoqing. Yang Ming was going to leave. How could she sleep? She smiled slyly and said, Qing, why don't we let Yang Ming have an unforgettable night? Then, he won't dare to not come back. How is it unforgettable? Xiaoqing naturally knew what Sun Jia's words meant, but she asked with a hum. This night, Yang Ming was destined to be unforgettable. Indeed, he had an unforgettable night. Early the next morning, Sun Jia drove Yang Ming to the entrance of the Huashang district, and then she drove Xiaoqing directly to school. Although it was a busy night, Sun Jia and Xiaoqing were willing. After all, this was the last night that Yang Ming spent with them. After 2 days, Yang Ming would leave. It was uncertain when he would come back. Now, only Huang Lele and Suya were left, but Yang Ming didn't intend to tell them so much. After all, they were far away from him. It was not very convenient to communicate with them on the phone. Yang Ming just said that he was going to perform a mission. It was uncertain when he would come back. For specific information, he let Huang Lele contact Wang Mei or Zhang Bin. Suya could contact Chen Mengyan. Suya and Chen Mengyan often communicated through QQ. Now, she and Lin Jiyun were very familiar with each other. As for Zhou Jiajia, needless to say, they were junior high school classmates and enemies. Unexpectedly, they became close friends now. On this day, Yang Ming didn't go anywhere else but stayed at home with Chen Mengyan, Lin Jiyun, and Zhou Jiajia. All three of them wanted to give Yang Ming a child before Yang Ming left. Yang Ming was naturally busy, however, it was Zhou Jiejia's first time. Chen Mengyan and Lin Jiyun naturally avoided it, letting Zhou Jiejia have an unforgettable first time. Between Yang Ming and Zhou Jiejia, in fact, except for the last relationship, there was no difference between them and Chen Mengyan and the others. Zhou Jiejia had already been prepared to give her body, so there was no knot in her heart except for expectation for this matter. Being able to give her body to Yang Ming before Yang Ming left was also Zhou Jiejia's wish, so Zhou Jiejia was very happy. Yang Ming, I have finally waited for this day. I am so happy. Zhou Jiejia's face was filled with a happy smile. Indeed, she had liked Yang Ming since junior high school. Until now, she finally had a positive result. In the middle of this, Zhou Jiejia knew how difficult it was. Yang Ming was also clear. It was very difficult for the two of them to be together. Hee, Jiejia, do you really plan to never change your mind? I'm afraid that after I leave, you will regret it. Yang Ming was not anxious, but he chatted with Zhou Jiejia. Of course not. Zhou Jiejia frowned and was a little unhappy. I can even die for you. How can I regret it? I have never regretted it. Well, I was wrong. Yang Ming smiled bitterly and apologized. Jiejia, in my life, it is already a great blessing to have you, Mengyan, and Jiyun. I didn't expect that all of you would treat me like this. I am really flattered. What about Suya? Zhou Jiejia said, why did you leave her behind? Or you deliberately didn't say it? Ugh. I didn't mean to not say it. Yang Ming sweated. He was usually used to putting Chen Mengyan, Lin Jiyun, and Zhou Jiejia together. The other girlfriends were also put together by a few people to avoid spilling the beans. However, Zhou Jiejia found a flaw. What about Sister Shaoqing? Zhou Jiejia continued to ask. Ugh. Yang Ming remembered that Zhou Jiejia knew about Shaoqing's matter. He couldn't help but feel a little ashamed. What about Jing Xiaolu? Zhou Jiejia asked again. Jiejia, you know Xiaolu? Yang Ming was shocked. He didn't expect Zhou Jiejia to know about Jing Xiaolu. I felt it myself. Zhou Jiejia smiled. You are really related. Otherwise, why did you let her manage the Ming Yang company? Ugh. Hee. Yang Ming laughed twice. I know that I can't tell Sister Mengyan, but I feel sorry for her. It's really a little distressing. Zhou Jiejia sighed. Yang Ming, if you come back safely this time, can you confess to Sister Mengyan about their relationship? Okay. This is for sure. I promise you. In fact, Yang Ming also intended to say these things because Yang Ming's ultimate goal was to settle down in X Island. At that time, all his women would be exposed, but before that, he must be honest. And, this way, I can also feel less burdened in my heart. Zhou Jiejia nodded. Then let's start. Okay? I have been looking forward to it for a long time. Oh, okay. Yang Ming nodded. He wasn't in a hurry because it was Zhou Jiejia's first time. He had to make her feel better. Although the time was a little short, Chen Mengyan and Lin Jiyun could also understand. Wait, I have to call Suya first. Zhou Jiejia suddenly found her phone on the bedside table and said firmly, before doing this, I have to talk to Suya. This is also a form of respect for her. It's not necessary, right? Yang Ming was a little embarrassed. After all, it wasn't appropriate for him to listen to Zhou Jiejia and Suya on the phone. Of course. Of course, I have to use it. Zhou Jiejia nodded affirmatively. Well, you make the call first. I will go out and walk around. Call me when you are done with the call. Yang Ming was really embarrassed to listen to Zhou Jiejia and Suya on the phone. It would make him very embarrassed. Although Yang Ming's face was very thick, it was better for Yang Ming to not listen to the conversation between girls. Okay, then I will call you when I am done with the call. It will be quick. Zhou Jiejia nodded and said. Chapter 1921. Yang Ming got up and went out of the bedroom. Fortunately, he hadn't taken off his pajamas. Otherwise, he could only run naked at home. Although the women living here were all his women, there was no need to avoid anything. However, Chen Mengyan would definitely laugh at him if she saw it. After Zhou Jiejia waited for Yang Ming to go out, she quickly got up from the bed. Then, she took out a small digital video camera from the cabinet and placed it on the cabinet in front of the bed. After setting the video parameters and adjusting the angle, Zhou Jiejia used her mobile phone to call Suya. Suya had just finished a promotion. At the moment, she was resting in the break when she heard the phone ring. She didn't want to answer, but the assistant, Sister Su, took the phone and said, "Miss Shu, it's Miss Zhou Jiejia calling." "Oh. Give it to me." Hearing that it was Zhou Jiejia calling, Suya naturally wouldn't not answer. Recently, she and Zhou Jiejia had already resolved the previous misunderstanding. The two of them were very close. They often called to talk about some private things. Chen Mengyan and Lin Jian were also together. Although the four of them weren't together, they often chatted on the internet. Suya was very happy. She enjoyed this kind of life. There were 3 considerate sisters and a common lover. Suya couldn't be by Yang Ming's side to take care of her, but there were Chen Mengyan and the other 2 to do it for her. It also made Suya have no psychological burden. Otherwise, even if Suya was reluctant to lose her current job, she would quit the entertainment industry and be with Yang Ming peacefully. The assistant, Sister Su, knew that Shuya didn't like to be disturbed when she was answering a private call, so after giving the phone to Shuya, she turned and left the break room. Suya picked up the phone. "Jiejia, why did you suddenly call me?" "Suya, I have to do something in a while." "Can you guess what it is?" Zhou Jiejia and Suya were familiar with each other, so she naturally spoke casually. "Do something?" Suya was slightly stunned, but then she understood something. "Are you going to have sex with Yang Ming?" N. Zhou Jiejia responded with a blush. "You dead girl. Are you deliberately angering me?" Although Suya said this, she wasn't really angry because she had accepted Zhou Jiejia and her identity. So, between her and Yang Ming, sooner or later, there would be such a day. What was Suya still angry about? In Suya, N. Zhou Jiejia nodded. Hee, then you should do it quickly." "I agree. Otherwise, Yang Ming will come and beat me." Suya laughed. "You are making fun of me." Zhou Jiejia blushed even more. "I'm not making fun of you." "Well, a moment of spring is worth 1,000 gold. I won't talk to you anymore. You enjoy your first time. Tell me how it feels later so that I can be mentally prepared." Suya smiled. "You are so annoying." Zhou Jiejia was embarrassed, but she still said, "I will tell you." The 2 laughed for a while before hanging up the phone. Suya shook her head. The more she interacted with Zhou Jiejia, the more she felt that she was cute. She wasn't as annoying as she was in her impression. She was like a completely different person, so Suya also sincerely accepted her. Zhou Jiejia could feel that Suya didn't have any resistance or negative emotions. She was relieved. If Suya was really unwilling, then Zhou Jiejia would definitely consider Suya's emotions and put this matter aside. Although there would be some regrets, Zhou Jiejia didn't want to do this with Yang Ming before Suya fully forgave and accepted her. But now it seemed that this worry was unnecessary. Zhou Jiejia called Yang Ming and hung up quickly. She believed that Yang Ming should be able to understand what she meant. After Yang Ming went out of the room, he saw Chen Mengyan and Lin Jian watching TV in the living room. But when they saw Yang Ming come out, they were a little puzzled. "Yang Ming, why did you come out?" Chen Mengyan looked at Yang Ming in surprise. "Did it end so soon?" "Ugh, whether it was fast or not, you still don't know?" Yang Ming smiled bitterly. "It hasn't started yet." "Fuck, how would we know?" Chen Mengyan glared at Yang Ming. Isn't that right, Sister Lin? Ah. Oh, in that case, no one will remember the time. Lin Jiyun said weakly. Chen Mengyan and Yang Ming didn't expect Lin Jiyun to answer like this. They couldn't help but be amused. It made Lin Jiyun blush. I'm just telling the truth. Lin Jiyun bowed her head shyly. Well, don't tease Sister Lin. Since you haven't started, why did you come out? Chen Mengyan was even more baffled. Could it be that Jejia isn't ready in her heart? That's not it. She is ready. She just wants to call Suya first, said Yang Ming. So it's like this. Chen Mengyan also understood Zhou Jejia's approach. After all, she and Suya had conflicts in the past. Suya was Yang Ming's official girlfriend, even more official than herself. Zhou Jejia would inevitably care about her feelings, so it was reasonable to call in advance. However, in Chen Mengyan's view, Suya wouldn't make things difficult for Zhou Jejia because the relationship between the four of them was very good, really good. Yang Ming accompanied Chen Mengyan and Lin Jiyun to talk for a while, but his phone rang. Yang Ming glanced at it and saw that it was Zhou Jejia. Just as he was about to pick it up, the other party had already hung up. Yang Ming smiled and said to Chen Mengyan, Jejia called me. I'll go over first. Go ahead, groom. Don't let our bride wait for too long. Chen Mengyan said with a smile. At this moment, Chen Mengyan's heart was very strange. She really didn't feel jealous. Instead, it was a sincere blessing for Zhou Jejia. Yang Ming returned to the bedroom. Zhou Jejia was ready to lie on the bed. Her eyebrows were full of shyness. She lowered her eyes and didn't speak, as if she was quietly waiting for the solemn moment to come. Jejia, are you done with the phone call? Yang Ming asked with a smile in order to make the atmosphere less awkward. I'm done. Zhou Jejia nodded. Hee, then let's start now, asked Yang Ming with a smile. Zhou Jejia nodded and closed her eyes. When Yang Ming was about to go to bed, he inadvertently saw a camera working not far from the bed. There was a red light flashing on it. Apparently, it was shooting. Chapter 1922. Yang Ming was a person who was very sensitive to changes in the outside world. This was also the basic ability of an assassin, so Yang Ming found something wrong at once. Could it be that Zhou Jejia wants to film the two of us when we are having sex? Does Zhou Jejia have this hobby? Does she like to take selfies? However, Yang Ming immediately thought of a possibility. Wasn't he leaving in 2 days? He also told them that he might not come back for 10 or 20 years, so Zhou Jejia might want to record this beautiful moment. After he left, she could often take it out to recall. Yang Ming shook his head slightly. He thought it was a little fun, but he didn't stop it. Since Zhou Jejia liked it, let her be. In fact, Zhou Jejia did have this idea, but the one who encouraged her to record wasn't herself, but Chen Mengyan. Chen Mengyan had this idea. After Yang Ming left, the three of them had no meaning. They could look at each other and think about Yang Ming. It was also a very beautiful thing. Zhou Jejia set up this camera in preparation for Chen Mengyan and Lin Jiyun to come in later. As for these videos being copied into the computer, it was impossible to be like a certain celebrity who caused the files to be leaked because of fixing the computer. To crack the files encrypted by Zhou Jejia, it was estimated that the world's top hackers might not be able to do it because Zhou Jejia herself was the king of hackers on the internet. Zhou Jejia's computer was broken, so she didn't need to go out to fix it. If she couldn't fix it herself, others couldn't fix it. Therefore, Chen Mengyan was also relieved to let Zhou Jejia record it. She wasn't afraid of any other problems. Although Yang Ming didn't think so comprehensively, he guessed it almost correctly. Soon, these trivial matters were drowned by the flames of desire of the two people. Zhou Jejia also changed from a young girl to a mature woman. Chen Mengyan and Lin Jiyun usually didn't appear in the bedroom together. Even if Yang Ming asked, they wouldn't agree unless Yang Ming forced them. But today, they gave up their previous shyness and entered the bedroom together. Originally, Chen Mengyan thought that it was Zhou Jiejia's first time, so she didn't want her to participate, but Zhou Jiejia stubbornly stayed. The reason was very simple. When they watched the video together in the future, she couldn't be left out, right? Even if she had a separate video, watching it alone was better than watching it with everyone watching it together. Therefore, Chen Mengyan had to agree to it. He didn't sleep well last night, and he was busy all day. Until it was almost evening, Yang Ming fell asleep in a daze. But after sleeping for a while, Yang Ming was woken up by the alarm set by the phone. Yang Ming invited Zhang Bin to go out for dinner today. Chen Mengyan, Lin Jiyun, and Zhou Jiejia were also tired. At the moment, they were all asleep. Yang Ming left them a note and went out to find Zhang Bin. When he went out, Yang Ming called Zhang Bin. "Bin Zi, where are you?" asked Yang Ming. "Bro, I am at school. I have pushed away all the activities and social engagements tonight. Even Cici and Wang Mei didn't let them come to me." "I was waiting for your call," said Zhang Bin. "I will wait for you downstairs of the school dormitory." As Yang Ming said, he drove the car to the school dormitory. However, he was surprised to see that someone was handing out flyers in front of the dormitory. After Yang Ming's car stopped, a person handed a flyer to Yang Ming. "Take a look. Master Yang Ming versus graduate student Fan Jinja." Yang Ming didn't expect that someone would give out this kind of flyer. He couldn't help but be dumbfounded. He took a look at the flyer. It was some introduction to himself and some introduction to Fan Jinja. However, it was some very general information. He didn't really believe it. Most of the pictures were taken when he was fighting with the Taekwondo club, and there were also pictures of his performance at the school art festival. As for Fan Jinja, there were even fewer. There were only some daily photos. In the advertisement, there were some predictions of the result of the match. Of course, whether it was from a subjective or objective evaluation, they were all biased towards Yang Ming's victory. However, Yang Ming was a little puzzled. Do these people have nothing better to do? Why are they printing these posters for free and distributing them? Is there any benefit to them? However, when Yang Ming turned the back of the flyer, he understood why these people would give out posters. It was because the back of the flyer was printed with a special price advertisement for a newly opened restaurant in the school. At the bottom of the advertisement, it was also indicated that this poster was printed by the student union. Yang Ming couldn't help but find it a little funny. The student union of this school really knows how to make money. Not only will they not lose money by printing these posters, but they will also make a lot of advertising fees. Moreover, the advertising fees should not be low. After all, this was different from ordinary advertisements. There was publicity about tomorrow's challenge, so most students would not throw it away after getting it. Instead, they would take it to the dormitory and look at it with others. The advertisement at the back would naturally achieve the purpose of being looked at by others. Even if many people inadvertently saw it, they would also remember the restaurant information on the advertisement. However, if it was a simple advertisement, many students would throw it away directly. They would not even look at it, or even want it. Yang Ming looked at it. Indeed, those who got the flyer would rarely throw it away directly. They would pick it up and look at it. It seemed that the effect was good. Yang Ming waited for a while. Zhang Bin came out of the school's dormitory building. When he walked out, he was also given an advertisement. Zhang Bin got into Yang Ming's car, waved the advertisement in his hand in the air, and said, "Bro, someone also posted the advertisement of the battle between you and Fan Jinja. I have another one here." "I have one too. I just finished reading it." Yang Ming smiled and pointed to an advertisement on the dashboard of the car and said, "It's here." "It can't be. He just sent it to you. The person who posted the advertisement didn't recognize you?" Zhang Bin looked at Yang Ming strangely and asked. "Yeah, he didn't recognize me. Maybe, he didn't even think that the person in the car was me." Yang Ming shrugged and smiled. "You see, those people who posted the advertisement didn't even look this way. Zhang Bin nodded. These people were hired by the student union. Everyone had a task assigned to them. If there was nothing special, it was naturally impossible to check if the person in the car was Yang Ming one by one. Bro, why did you ask me to come here? Why are you so mysterious? Zhang Bin looked at Yang Ming and asked strangely. Chapter 1923. Hee, I want to talk to you. Yang Ming said, since we graduated from high school, it seems that we rarely have the opportunity to sit together to eat and chat, right? There are a lot of opportunities, but they are all with my girlfriend. Zhang Bin said with some emotion after listening, time flies so fast. In a flash, it is already the second semester of freshman year. Sometimes, I still think about the time when we were in high school. At that time, I didn't have much money. I relied on you to treat me to meals, Yang Ming said with some nostalgia. Thinking about it, you really took care of me at that time. Bro, look at what you are saying. Who are we? I have money, so I spend more. It's not a big deal. Zhang Bin waved his hand and said indifferently, at that time, it was very interesting to deal with Wang Jitao together. Yeah, I, Yang Ming, have not had many real friends in my life until now. You are the most important one. Yang Ming nodded and said, let's go. Let's go to the place where we went to high school. Okay. Zhang Bin didn't know why Yang Ming was so nostalgic and emotional today, but when Zhang Bin thought of the past, he also had some nostalgia, so he didn't refuse Yang Ming's proposal. Do you still remember this road? Did we encounter some hooligans robbing us here? Yang Ming drove the car to the vicinity of number 4 high school and pointed to a small road as he spoke to Zhang Bin. How can I not remember? Back then, you beat the crap out of those 3 hooligans by yourself. Zhang Bin thought of the past, and he was a little excited. It's here. You knocked down one with one punch, and scared the other 2 gangsters. And your nickname of Fighting King, Lunatic Yang, also began to spread from this time. No one in our school dared to bully you. I'll follow suit. Hee, yeah. Yang Ming thought of the incident where he met Huang Mao and Zhang Yuliang near the street. If it wasn't for Zhang Yuliang, he wouldn't have met the mysterious old man and wouldn't have obtained this magical X-ray vision ability. If it wasn't for all of this, what would he be like now? Maybe he wouldn't have to worry about going to Yunnan to carry out a mission in 2 days, and he wouldn't have so many enemies. But what would his life and the people around him be like? First of all, Chen Mengyan and I shouldn't have any more interactions. Without any interactions with Chen Mengyan, it was impossible to have conflicts with Wang Jitao because of this. And Wang Jitao wouldn't use Lin Jiyun to frame me. I shouldn't have any interactions with Lin Jiyun. If I didn't have special abilities, it was absolutely impossible for me to be admitted to university. After failing the college entrance examination, would be busy with my future work. I wouldn't have time to travel with Zhang Bin, and it would be impossible to meet Lan Ling again. If I didn't go to Yunnan to gamble on stones, I wouldn't have gone to the bookstore to study jade, and I wouldn't have met Lu Weishan again. If I didn't meet Lu Weishan, I wouldn't have met Xiao Qing on the way to the bookstore, and I wouldn't have known that Xiao Qing was Lu Weishan's goddaughter. Moreover, if I didn't get admitted to university, my cousin, Yang Li, wouldn't have taken me to see the so-called world. I wouldn't have met Sun Jia again, and I wouldn't have pretended to be her girlfriend. As for Zhao Ying, it was even more impossible to have any interactions with her. She was just a former teacher of mine. Maybe she would be together with Jean Gang due to threats, or maybe she would be together with the boyfriend arranged by Zhao Ying's mother according to fate. As for the remaining Huang Lele and Jing Xiaolu, it was impossible to know them again. As for Wang Xiaoyan, she was simply a person from a different world from me. Without Lin Jiyun's matter, I wouldn't have gone to the detention center, and I wouldn't have met Fang Tian. If I didn't become an assassin, how would I still have contact with Wang Xiaoyan? As for meeting Suya again, I don't even think about it. When he thought of the trouble Suya encountered when he first met Suya, Ong Ming broke out in a cold sweat. All of this was based on the premise of karma. In other words, if there was a small deviation in my life, it would be completely different. Looking at my life for more than half a year, although it was full of thorns and dangers, it was very fulfilling. Life's encounters are really wonderful. Therefore, Yang Ming didn't regret choosing the current path. Even if he had to face unknown dangers in 2 days, he wouldn't have any psychological burden. It was because he didn't want to become a person who only knew how to go to work and go home to sleep every day. He got a lot of things that he couldn't imagine before. When he suddenly looked back, all of this seemed like a dream. "Bro, what's wrong with you?" Zhang Bin saw Yang Ming parked the car on the side of the road in a daze, and he couldn't help but ask curiously. "Nothing." Yang Ming recovered and shrugged apologetically. "I was a little lost in thought when I thought of the past." I just thought of a lot of things in the past." Zhang Bin nodded. "Let's go and see in front." Yang Ming started the car and was about to go to the school, but he suddenly saw 2 familiar figures not far from the intersection. "Hey, bro, isn't that your brother, Yang Xiaobo? Why is he here? He seems to be in trouble." Zhang Bin also saw it and pointed not far away. "It's him. I know the other one too." Yang Ming nodded. "Let's go and see." The person next to Yang Xiaobo was Shen Yushi's younger brother, Shen Kuangnyo. Yang Ming also knew him. The two of them were surrounded by a few teenagers who were obviously delinquents at the moment. "Yang Xiaobo, this has nothing to do with you. Are you going to stand up for Shen Kuangnyo?" Huang Mao seemed to be a little afraid of Yang Xiaobo. He stared at Yang Xiaobo and asked. "That's right. I will take care of this matter." Yang Xiaobo didn't show any weakness. He stepped forward and stood in front of Shen Kuangnyo. "Yang Xiaobo, I didn't let you take care of these things because I was giving you face. Don't be so shameless. Although your brother is Yang Ming, he is now just a college student with a little money. Does he really think that he is the boss of the past?" Huang Mao snorted and said, "Now, even if he comes, I will give him face and call him Brother Yang. If I don't give him face, he has to call me brother." However, when he said this, it was obvious that he was a coward at heart. Yang Ming and Bao Sanli had a good relationship. This was known to many people. Although these low-level punks didn't know that Bao Sanli was Yang Ming's underling, they didn't dare to offend Yang Ming. In their opinion, it was okay to shout a few words. Yang Ming wouldn't have time to care about them. As long as they didn't touch Yang Ming's younger brother, Yang Ming wouldn't be nosy. If Yang Xiaobo wanted to use Yang Ming's name to show off, then they wouldn't give him face. Chapter 1924. Yang Ming is also my brother-in-law. Don't talk nonsense. Shen Kuangnyo was also a little angry. Originally, Yang Xiaobo still had a lot of face in the school. However, a few repeaters had transferred to the school these days. The leader, Huang Mao, was called Li Zihua. After transferring for 2 days, he jumped up and down in the school and quickly gathered a few loyal followers. The purple hair beside him was called Su Jianong. He was also a bad strategist. These 2 days, under Su Jianong's instigation, Li Zihua started to pursue a girl. This girl had a good relationship with Shen Kuangnyo. Although they weren't in a relationship, they had some feelings for each other. So, how could Shen Kuangnyo agree? He went to reason with Li Zihua. However, Li Zihua was also a big figure. Not only did he have a few capable followers in the school, but he also had some connections in the society. He could call for some fighters at any time. Songjiang City had not formed a relatively powerful underworld force since Bao Sanli switched to the legal profession. After all, there was Bao Sanli, the retired emperor, suppressing them. No one dared to make it too big. Don't look at Bao Sanli now ignoring those underworld matters. Not only did his strength not decrease, but it was even more powerful. The Ming-Yang security company under him was full of masters. Any one of them had the strength to fight against 3 people at the same time. Li Zihua saw this power vacuum, so he started to gather a few people to form a small gang. However, he met a tough nut in just a few days. Yang Xiaobo and Shen Kuangniu. To be honest, Li Zihua didn't dare to do anything to Yang Xiaobo. After all, Yang Ming's legend was too evil. He didn't dare to challenge Yang Ming's bottom line. However, as for Shen Kuangniu, Yang Xiaobo's good friend, he was ready to use him to establish his power. As long as he beat up Shen Kuangniu, the school would be his world in the future. This was why Li Zihua didn't hesitate to offend Yang Ming verbally. He didn't want Yang Xiaobo to interfere in this matter. As long as he established his power with Shen Kuangniu, he would be able to do whatever he wanted in the school. Yang Ming is your brother-in-law? Ha! Zihua couldn't help but burst into laughter. Do you take me for an idiot? Shen Kuangniu, I'm telling you, the girl I chased before was just an excuse. My main purpose was to find trouble with you and use you to establish my authority in school. I've already investigated your background. You have a crippled elder sister. What brother-in-law? How could Yang Ming be interested in your elder sister? Don't make me laugh. Even if your sister were to throw herself at him, no one would want her. Zihua finally revealed the reason he was harassing the girl Shen Kuangniu liked. He was trying to anger Shen Kuangniu so that he could get back at him. Your sister is a cripple. Shen Kuangniu was furious. How could he allow others to insult his sister? He couldn't care less anymore, charging forward like a madman, determined to fight to the death with Zihua. But why would Zihua need to do it himself? With a wave of his hand, Su Jiaoneng and another boy named Zhang Yuzhou rushed forward and held Shen Kuangniu from both sides, preventing him from moving. Shen Kuangniu didn't practice any martial arts. He only had brute strength. Su Jiaoneng and Zhang Yuzhou were strong as well. How could he break free? Zihua slapped Shen Kuangniu's face. Fuck. You dare to be cocky with me? Do you believe that I can kill you today? Yang Xiaobo was a little anxious and rushed forward to stop him. Although Zihua didn't dare to touch Yang Xiaobo, he could still signal his subordinates to pull Yang Xiaobo aside. Yang Ming frowned. Why are these underground forces in such a mess when I haven't left yet? If he left, how could he be at ease? Although Yang Ming knew that Bao Sanli had changed to doing legitimate business and gave up the underground business, it didn't mean that he wouldn't monitor these industries and forces. He had to stop them from developing. Yang Ming didn't know where this Zihua came from, but he didn't want to care so much. He started the car and rushed towards Zihua. He hadn't left yet and someone was bullying his brother. How could Yang Ming just sit back and watch? Even if he killed Zihua, Xia Bingbao wouldn't say anything. Zihua was proud of himself and was ready to teach Shen Kuangniu a lesson. All the students in the school were called by him, ready to see him show his power. Just as he was about to continue messing with Shen Kuangniu in front of those students, he suddenly saw a BMW rushing towards him. Zihua didn't know what to do with that, as he subconsciously dodged to the side. Unfortunately, the car was too fast, and the rearview mirror slammed into him, causing him to fall flat on his face. This sudden change scared Zihua and his subordinates, but Yang Xiaobo and Shen Kuangniu's eyes flashed with excitement because this was Yang Ming's car. They knew it. Fuck you, do you know how to drive? Don't you have eyes? Zihua crawled up from the ground, his face bruised and swollen. He recognized the car as a BMW, but he wasn't afraid of it. He had the advantage in numbers, and it didn't matter if the enemy had some sort of background. He'd give him a good beating, and he wouldn't let him leave without extorting a few 100,000. Zhang Bin didn't expect Yang Ming to be so fierce and drive a car to hit people. Although he was a little excited, he was more worried. However, before Zhang Bin could say anything, Yang Ming had already gotten out of the car. Although Zihua didn't know Yang Ming, the students he called over to watch knew Yang Ming. When Yang Ming was in the 3rd year of high school, they were still in the 1st and 2nd year of high school. Now that they were in the 2nd and 3rd year of high school, Yang Ming had already graduated. Yang Ming. These people were instinctively afraid of Yang Ming. After all, Yang Ming's legend was getting worse and worse, and they had more or less seen Yang Ming fight with their own eyes. At this moment, when they saw Yang Ming coming, they couldn't help but retreat. Especially Yang Ming's conspicuous Song B88 license plate. These people were more or less well informed. They all knew that the previous owner of this BMW was Bao Sanli, and now that Yang Ming was driving this car, the relationship between Yang Ming and Bao Sanli was self-evident. Brother-in-law. Yang Xiaobo and Shen Kuangniu saw Yang Ming coming and shouted excitedly. It would be a lie to say that Yang Xiaobo wasn't worried and scared before, but Shen Kuangniu was his good friend. He naturally couldn't just watch Shen Kuangniu get bullied. Chapter 1925. Now that Yang Ming was here, Yang Ming would stand up for them, and this Zihua would finally get the lesson he deserved. You're Yang Ming? Zihua didn't know Yang Ming at all. He transferred here later, but after seeing the expressions of these people and the way Yang Xiaobo and Kuangniu addressed him, how could he not know that this person in front of him was Yang Ming? That's me. Yang Ming nodded faintly. I'm here. You want me to call you big bro? Zihua instinctively felt fear when he saw Yang Ming, but then he remembered that there were only 2 people with Yang Ming, and one was still in the car. He had so many people with him, what was there to be afraid of? So he decided to toughen up. I, Li Zihua, am now the boss of Songjiang 4th High. You almost hit me just now. What do you have to say about that? What do you want to say? Yang Ming looked at Zihua with a smile that didn't look like a smile. You have to pay me at least 200,000 for the medical fees, or you don't have to leave today. Zihua stomped his foot and said. Yang Ming smiled faintly, feeling a little annoyed. This guy didn't know when to back down, and he was insatiably greedy, asking for 200,000 right off the bat. Naturally, Yang Ming didn't like this kind of person. Besides, he wasn't even leaving yet, and this scourge was already bullying Yang Xiaobo and Kuangniu. If he left, wouldn't these people turn the sky upside down? And so, Yang Ming decided to teach this Zihua a lesson for eternity. He raised his hand casually and touched a certain part of Zihua's body. Zihua paused at first, not knowing what Yang Ming was going to do. He couldn't help but mock. Are you hitting me? Or are you tickling me? Huh. I thought you were so awesome, but it seems that the rumors are not reliable, huh? All of a sudden, Zihua felt a heart-wrenching itch spread throughout his body, as if he was being bitten by 10,000 ants. He couldn't help but scratch at his body, but that didn't seem to have any effect at all. The itch seemed to be coming from under his skin, and scratching at the surface wouldn't do him any good. He couldn't tear off his skin, could he? Ah. It hurts, it's so itchy, I'm dying. Zihua couldn't take it anymore. He started rolling around on the floor. This was also the first time that Yang Ming had used such a ruthless method to deal with a hooligan. Because Yang Ming was about to leave, he didn't have time to argue with these small fries. If he didn't teach them a lesson that they would remember for the rest of their lives, he would never remember. What happened to you? Bewitched? Yang Ming said somewhat mockingly. When did I call you brother? Although Yang Ming said that, how could Zihua not know that Yang Ming was the one who did this to him? At this moment, he finally understood that the rumors about Yang Ming's ruthlessness weren't lies. It was the truth, and Yang Ming was really scary. Brother, you're my brother, Brother Yang, save me, I'm dying. Ah. Zihua's miserable cries sent chills down everyone's spines. Su Jiaoneng and Zhang Yuzhou had already let go of Shen Kuangniu and quietly moved to the side, not daring to face Yang Ming. The people who were holding on to Yang Xiaobo also let go. With Zihua in such a state, how could they dare to go against Yang Ming? What was more frightening was that they didn't even know what was going on with Zihua, and why this strange situation was happening. This kind of unknown horror was the scariest. They didn't see what Yang Ming did, but Zihua was rolling on the ground in pain, not knowing whether he was dead or alive. Brother. Dad. Grandpa, I beg you, I can't take it anymore, it's so uncomfortable. Zihua roared, still rolling on the ground. Just kill me, it's fine if I die, but don't torture me. Su Jiaonong and Zhang Yuzhou were completely shocked. Sihua was actually begging for death? How painful must it be to make Sihua want to die? What the hell was going on? Yang Ming's identity was about to be exposed anyway, so Yang Ming wasn't afraid of more people knowing about his identity and ability. This was also the reason why Yang Ming taught Sihua a lesson in front of everyone. This way, even if he left, these people wouldn't dare to do anything to Yang Xiaobo and Shen Kuangniu. Sihua's lesson was too unforgettable, and these people didn't dare to try again. Sihua saw that Yang Ming was still standing there, unmoving. He knew that Yang Ming wouldn't let him go so easily, but he was really in extreme pain. If he could die, he wouldn't want to live, but this kind of pain and itchiness was draining him of all strength. He couldn't even kill himself. Su Jiaonong, kill me, stab me with a knife, I beg you, I can't take it anymore. Sihua begged Su Jiaonong for help. Su Jiaonong was scared out of his wits. He had never seen such a scene before. Sihua was begging for death? Sihua bro, don't say such depressing things. With that, Su Jiaonong pulled Zhang Yuzhou and the others to kneel in front of Yang Ming. Brother Yang, I beg you, please spare Sihua bro. Fuck. You idiots, Sihua cursed in his heart. You called me bro, and now you're calling Yang Ming bro. Didn't that mean that Yang Ming and I were brothers? How could Yang Ming be happy? I'd be lucky if he didn't continue to punish me. Why would he save me? Grandpa Yang, please save me. Sihua cried out. Su Jiaonong and Zhang Yuzhou froze at Sihua's words, but they quickly understood what he meant. They quickly said, Grandpa Yang, please let Sihua bro go. We were wrong, really wrong. In the future, we'll listen to Bo bro and Kuangniu bro in school. Yang Ming looked at Zhang Yuzhou and Su Jiaonong faintly. He lifted his leg and kicked Sihua, who was rolling on the ground. It looked like a casual kick, but Sihua's face relaxed instantly. The terrifying pain and itch on his body disappeared in an instant. It was really strange. He lay on the ground, panting heavily, his eyes filled with undisguised fear. He didn't dare look at Yang Ming directly, and he quickly thanked him. Thank you, Grandpa Yang. Thank you, Grandpa Yang. He was 100% sure that Yang Ming was the one who punished him, and that Yang Ming could punish him as he pleased and relieve his pain. What kind of method was this? Could it be the legendary pressure point sealing? Sihua was even more terrified at the thought of this possibility. Could Yang Ming be a legendary woolly master? He knew pressure point sealing. Wasn't this too much of a legend? How was this possible? Chapter 1926. Although Sihua didn't quite believe it, he saw it with his own eyes. He had no choice but to believe it. The pain on his body just now wasn't something a normal person could endure. Those few short minutes had turned into a nightmare that would haunt him for the rest of his life. Take your lackeys and leave Songjiang City. We'll leave in a moment. Yang Ming looked at Sihua and said condescendingly, if I find out that you guys are still here tomorrow, it won't be so easy to die. Yes, yes. How could Sihua not listen to Yang Ming? Whatever Yang Ming told them to do, they would naturally do it. Wasn't it just leaving Songjiang City? Then he might as well take these people and leave. This place was too scary. With a ruthless person like Yang Ming here, how could he stand out? Scram. Yang Ming waved his hand faintly and said, remember my words. I'll scram, I'll scram. Sihua looked at Yang Ming and imprinted his face in his mind. He didn't want to take revenge on Yang Ming when he became rich in the future, but he wanted to remember Yang Ming so that he and his men wouldn't find trouble with people related to Yang Ming. Otherwise, it would be too late for regrets. Sihua took Su Jiaonong and Zhang Yuzhou and ran away in a sorry state. Those who were watching the show also took a few steps back in fear, not daring to come forward. Only Yang Xiaobo and Shen Kuangniu were full of surprise and admiration. Alright, you guys can leave too. Yang Ming looked at the surrounding people. Although there were many familiar faces in these people, there were also people who followed behind him and called him Brother Yang and Boss Yang. However, Yang Ming didn't take his anger out on them because they didn't stand up for Yang Xiaobo. After all, Sihua was stronger than them, and they didn't dare to offend Sihua and help Yang Xiaobo and Shen Kuangniu. Therefore, Yang Ming didn't need to bother with people like this, as long as they didn't help Sihua bully Yang Xiaobo. Naturally, Yang Ming wouldn't let go of Sihua, the culprit. What he said to him wasn't just a threat, but a warning. If Sihua and the others didn't leave tomorrow, then Yang Ming would inform Bao Sanli to deal with them. However, Sihua didn't want to lie to Yang Ming. He was really scared, and he didn't dare to stay here any longer. He had already made up his mind to go with Su Jiaonang and Zhang Yuzhou to Songshan City, which was close to Songjiang City, and start a new business there. He definitely couldn't stay in Songjiang City anymore. Yang Ming would forever be a pain in his heart, making him fear this name for the rest of his life. Moreover, as this name became more and more famous, he was even more afraid that Yang Ming would come to him for revenge. Sihua, on the other hand, was quite a character as well. He'd actually made a name for himself in Songshan, starting a glorious life. But it didn't last very long before someone else popped up and screwed him over. Of course, that was a story for another time, recorded in The School Beauty's Personal Bodyguard. Yang Ming waited for those people to leave before walking over and patting Yang Xiaobo and Shen Kuangniu's shoulders. Study hard, don't always come out to fight. This isn't the time to be a hero. Next time something like this happens, just make a call and you can solve it. Why do you have to face these people head-on? Yang Xiaobo was a little embarrassed. Kuangniu and I thought that we didn't want to trouble you. What's the trouble? Yang Ming waved his hand. How about this? I'll give you a phone number. It's Bao Sanli. If there's anything, you can find him to solve it. With that said, Yang Ming pulled out Bao Sanli's number from his phone and sent it to Yang Xiaobo and Shen Kuangniu. Bao Sanli. Such a big figure. Yang Xiaobo and Shen Kuangniu were shocked. Heh, big figures are also my subordinates. Yang Ming smiled. Xiaobo, if you have trouble, just tell him that you're my younger brother. Kuangniu, just say that you're Yushi's younger brother, or say that you're my brother-in-law. Huh, okay, now I'm awesome. Bao Sanli and Brother Bao are both my brother-in-law's subordinates. Shen Kuangniu nodded excitedly. Don't lie and bully others. If I find out, I won't let you go. Yang Ming glared at Shen Kuangniu. I wouldn't dare. Shen Kuangniu quickly shook his head. Okay, let's go back to school. School hasn't ended yet, right? There should be a self-study period in the evening, right? Yang Ming also graduated from Songjiang No. 4 High School, so he naturally knew the curriculum of Songjiang No. 4 High School. And then we'll go to class, brother. Yang Xiaobo nodded and said. Go ahead. Yang Ming looked at the time and said, isn't class starting soon? Yang Xiaobo and Shen Kuangniu scratched their heads embarrassedly and ran away. Yang Ming looked at the backs of the two people and sighed. Yang Ming could only do something for his family, lover, and friends as much as possible so that they wouldn't have any worries after he left. However, Yang Ming also knew that he couldn't consider everything. There would always be omissions. These depended on their own efforts. With Bao Sanli's help, it shouldn't be a big problem. Zhang Bin had seen Yang Ming's ruthlessness when he was in Las Vegas. He also knew that Yang Ming's identity was special, so he wasn't too surprised at the moment. When he saw Yang Ming get in the car, he sighed, Bro, you're too awesome. You can make people beg for death. It's just a small trick. Yang Ming waved his hand. Small trick. I can't learn it. I can't bear this pain. Zhang Bin shook his head. Bro, what are we going to do now? Asked Zhang Bin. Let's go and eat something. Yang Ming drove the car to the door of a restaurant called Juyuan Snacks at the school gate. When they were in school, Yang Ming and Zhang Bin sometimes came here to improve their meals, but it was basically Zhang Bin who treated. So Yang Ming said, Today, I will treat you. Ha, sure. Zhang Bing didn't decline. He nodded his head and agreed. The two people entered the snack bar. Unexpectedly, the owner of the snack bar actually recognized them. Yang Ming, Zhang Bin. You haven't been here for a long time. You should have graduated, right? Yang Ming was a ruthless person near the school. These people who did business near the school certainly knew Yang Ming, but Yang Ming never bullied them. If other punks came to harass them, Yang Ming would stop them. This also made Yang Ming more popular in this area. Chapter 1927. Zhang Bin and Yang Ming often came to eat together, so the lady boss also knew Zhang Bin. Every time they came, she would give them a small discount. I graduated. I passed by here today, so I came back to have a look. Yang Ming smiled and nodded. The lady boss looked at the BMW car parked outside with some envy. Although she didn't know how much it cost, it was definitely not cheap. There was no doubt that these two people were now rich. They were no longer the poor students in the past. However, this was also considered as good karma. The lady boss felt that Yang Ming and Zhang Bin were good people. It was normal for them to have their current achievements. What do you want to eat? The chef is still the same as before. All the dishes are the same. The lady boss said with a smile. Is there a single room? We have something to talk about. Yang Ming asked the lady boss. Naturally. At this time, the school has already started the evening self-study. There are no guests. The lady boss led Yang Ming and Zhang Bin to a private room and then handed them the menu. Yang Ming took the menu and ordered a few dishes that they used to eat. Yang Ming came here just to reminisce. It was more to chat with Zhang Bin. He didn't mainly come to eat. The lady boss saw that Yang Ming ordered so many dishes. She was very happy and went to the kitchen to cook. Yang Ming chatted with Zhang Bin. Bin Zi, how is the jewelry company's business? Yang Ming asked casually. Not bad. Now the quarterly sales have exceeded 10 million yuan. The profit is also a few million yuan. Zhang Bin introduced, Bro, your bonus is now 10 million yuan. When are you going to bring it up? No need. Just put it in the company. Yang Ming waved his hand and took out a document. He put it in front of Zhang Bin. Take a look at this document. If there is no problem, sign it. Zhang Bin took the document that Yang Ming handed over with some inexplicable feeling. He saw the words Equity Transfer Agreement on it. He was shocked. Does Yang Ming want to take back all the shares in my hands? But in Zhang Bin's view, Yang Ming wasn't such a person. With doubts, Zhang Bin read it carefully. But at first glance, he was even more scared because the content of the agreement was that Yang Ming unconditionally transferred all the shares under his name to him. Bro, you want to give all the shares of the jewelry company to me? Zhang Bin looked at Yang Ming with some disbelief. It's all yours. Yang Ming nodded. It is useless for me to keep it in my hands. Before I leave, I will leave a business for you, a good brother. As long as you don't think it's too little, it will be fine. Too little? So much. How can it be too little? It's just bro, I don't understand. Why do you want to give these shares to me all of a sudden? And, what did you just say about leaving? Before you leave? What does this mean? Zhang Bin was confused. He didn't know what Yang Ming meant. You probably know a little about my identity. Yang Ming waved his hand and motioned to Zhang Bin not to be anxious. Then he said, when you were in Las Vegas, you knew that I have a special identity. I belong to a mysterious department of the country called the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. It specializes in performing some special, urgent, and dangerous tasks. The nature of the work is the same as that of an agent. Our professional name is also an agent, damn. Bro, you are so badass. Zhang Bin widened his eyes. Although he knew a little about Yang Ming before, He didn't expect Yang Ming to be so powerful. He was actually an agent. Zhang Bin couldn't be more surprised. Hee, I didn't go back with you last time because I had an urgent task to perform, so I stayed. Yang Ming said, in 2 days, I have to perform a relatively special task, but this task is more dangerous. It's hard to say if I can come back. No way, bro. Zhang Bin's face suddenly became a little unnatural. His eyes were full of worry. Really? Why do I feel like I'm dreaming? Bro, you aren't lying to me, right? I didn't lie to you. I really have to perform a task. Before I leave, I have to deal with some things after my death. Yang Ming waved his hand and sighed. The jewelry company will be left to you. Manage it well in the future. Maybe when I come back, I will ask you for it. Yang Ming made a joke, but Zhang Bin couldn't laugh. He had a bitter face and didn't know what to say because he really didn't know what to say. He finally knew why Yang Ming called him out for a meal alone. In addition to nostalgia, Yang Ming wanted to tell him this big event. But he couldn't give any suggestions except for listening because he didn't understand these things. He couldn't stop Yang Ming because if he stopped, Yang Ming wouldn't listen to him. Since Yang Ming chose to tell him these things, he also made up his mind. He also purely treated him as a confidant and confided in him. After Yang Ming prepared the equity transfer agreement, this matter had already been settled. I really hope that you will come back and ask me for it. Zhang Bin smiled bitterly. If you can't go, I can give you my shares. I'm telling the truth. Yang Ming didn't doubt Zhang Bin's sincerity because Zhang Bin wasn't a person who valued money very much. When he was in school, he never cared about these things. So after Yang Ming became rich, he didn't forget Zhang Bin. Although the jewelry company was thriving, making more and more money, Yang Ming wasn't reluctant to part with it. Okay, then you wait for me to come back safely. Yang Ming smiled and took a sip of tea. At this moment, he was already very indifferent. Except for the people around him who were worried, Yang Ming didn't have the slightest sense of resistance for the trip to Yunnan in 2 days. Zhang Bin nodded and didn't say anything. He silently drank tea with Yang Ming. Both of them drove here, so Yang Ming didn't ask for wine. Because there was no one else in the restaurant at this moment, the food was quickly served. The two of them seemed to have returned to their high school days. They wolfed down the food. When they went home in the evening, Yang Ming just patted Zhang Bin's shoulder. What I said to you, don't tell Chen Mengyan and the others first. They don't know that you are leaving? Zhang Bin asked with some surprise. They know, but I didn't tell them the danger of the mission. I just said that it may take a long time. The shortest is 1.5 years, and the longest is 10 or 20 years. I gave them a psychological buffer period. After a long time, they will naturally forget. Chapter 1928. Bro, you don't know how much sister-in-law Meng Yan loves you. Zhang Bin smiled bitterly. How can it be forgotten? She can only miss you more and more. There is a saying that the greater the hope, the greater the disappointment. If sister-in-law waited for a long time and found out that you were going to perform a very dangerous mission, do you think they can't stand it? There are a few people who know the truth. They will definitely meet, and they will know. Said Yang Ming. How many? Bro, how many wives do you have? How many sisters-in-law do I have? Zhang Bin still hadn't figured out how many wives Yang Ming had. In addition to Chen Mengyan, Zhou Jiejia, and Lin Jiyun, there are also Jing Xiaolu and Wang Xiaoyan. You know both of them. Yang Ming said. Oh. Jing Xiaolu too. I was wondering why she has become so cool recently. She has changed her image of a delinquent girl. Zhang Bin nodded and said, recently, she has been in the top 10 of the school's campus belle list. Everyone guessed that she is being kept by a big boss. Let's say that she is being kept by me. She is in charge of Ming Yang Entertainment. Yang Ming said. Wang Xiaoyan. I don't have much contact with her. Is she your beautiful neighbor? Zhang Bin really didn't have much interaction with Wang Xiaoyan. That's her. Yang Ming nodded. The rest are Xiao Qing, Sun Jia, and Zhao Ying. You know all three of them, huh? Zhang Bin suddenly widened his eyes. When Yang Ming mentioned Jing Xiaolu and Wang Xiaoyan, Zhang Bin was surprised, but he didn't feel anything strange. But now, when it came to Xiao Qing, Sun Jia, and Zhao Ying, Zhang Bin was really shocked. Sun Jia was understandable. She was beautiful with big breasts, strong abilities, and a good family background. Yang Ming's choice of her was unquestionable. According to Tian Donghua, Yang Ming also saved Sun Jia, so Zhang Bin vaguely knew that Sun Jia and Yang Ming had some relationship. But Xiao Qing. Isn't she Yang Ming's sister? Did he really become a sister? Isn't this too dramatic? And Zhao Ying. Why is she with Yang Ming? As a matter of fact, Zhao Ying used to be the crush of many boys. Although she was now a graduate student, and her identity was the same as Yang Ming's, the two could be said to have no difference in identity. However, they were still together. This really made Zhang Bin admire them. Why, are you scared? Yang Ming also felt that his words might shock Zhang Bin. He. I was indeed shocked. Zhang Bin smiled bitterly. Bro, you are really fierce. Right, who else? In addition, there is Huang Lele and Suya. That is, the big star, said Yang Ming. Zhang Bin nodded. He knew these two people, so there was nothing strange about it. However, what made him feel strange was another thing. Right, Shen Kuangmyo just now, did he call you brother-in-law? His sister is Shin Yushi. Her case should have been reported in the newspaper and TV news a few days ago. Have you seen it? Yang Ming was reminded of Shin Yushi by Zhang Bin, but Yang Ming didn't have much feelings for Shin Yushi. At most, he had some good feelings. The reason why he agreed to be her boyfriend was because of her illness. However, since Zhang Bin asked, Yang Ming couldn't deny it. It was better to be safe than sorry. If what he said was passed to Shin Yushi's ears, then it would be a bit bad. Oh, that case, I have seen it. It was quite sensational. Those who went to prison were all from our school. The school newspaper and campus forum also reported the truth of the matter. The school also used this to warn everyone not to do impulsive things that violate the law. They have been expelled. Zhang Bin nodded and said, but Shin Yushi is your girlfriend? Yes, she is. Yang Ming nodded. It's a long story between the two of us, but I am also very sad about this incident. I can only let her recuperate in peace first. Yang Ming said it vaguely because Yang Ming didn't want to lie to Zhang Bin, but there was no way to tell the truth. He could only say so. It turned out to be like this, then she is quite pitiful. Zhang Bin nodded. Right, bro, with your character, you should be angry. How did it benefit those guys? They can't stay in prison. Bao Sanli has people in prison. They are probably beaten up by the big brother in prison every day. Yang Ming smiled. That's good. We can't let them benefit. Zhang Bin said, other than that, there is no one else, right? How many of them are there? Lan Ling, you know her. I am going to Yunnan this time to look for Lan Ling in addition to carrying out the mission. Yang Ming said, other than that, it seems like there is really no one else. Right, if you want to count, Lu Huamei should be considered my woman. Yang Ming was afraid that Lu Huamei would spill the beans, so he told Zhang Bin in advance. Lu Huamei? The new chairman of the Jiangyan group? Zhang Bin was shocked. He didn't expect Yang Ming to have connections with Lu Huamei. Lu Huamei went from a weaker position to the Jiangyan group's leader during the association's time. Was Yang Ming involved in the Lu family's matters? However, it wasn't important whether there was or not because Zhang Bin didn't care about other people's matters. He only cared about Yang Ming's mission this time and whether Yang Ming could come back safely. It's her. Yang Ming said. She has a good relationship with Xiaolu. The two of them will probably work together in the future. Okay, boss. I will do my best to help these people. Zhang Bin remembered these people's names in his heart. Hehe, if you have any problems, you can also look for Bao Sanli or Chen Mengyan's father. With the two of them, there shouldn't be any big trouble. Yang Ming said to Zhang Bin. Zhang Bin nodded silently. Okay, you go back and accompany Zhao Sisi and Wang Mei. I also have to go back and accompany Meng Yan and the others. Yang Ming waved his hand at Zhang Bin, then turned around and got into the car. He drove away. Zhang Bin looked at Yang Ming's car leaving and sighed slightly. He didn't expect Yang Ming to actually carry out a mission. It seemed that he was much happier than Yang Ming. Originally, he was envious of Yang Ming for having so many wives, but now that he thought of Yang Ming's responsibilities, Zhang Bin felt that it was already good enough for him to have 2 wives. Yang Ming still accompanied Shen Mengyan, Lin Jiyun, and Zhou Jiejia at night. However, after they fell asleep, Yang Ming climbed over the wall and sneaked into Wang Xiaoyan's villa. Chapter 1929. Feng Xibiao came to Songjiang City, the place where he once felt sad. Here, Feng Xibiao was once killed by a person with one punch, which made him, the underground boxing champion, lose face. This was a permanent pain in his heart. If it wasn't Feng Jianing who offered a high price, 200,000 yuan, and even reimbursed the round-trip air ticket, this made Feng Xibiao very tempted. Therefore, Feng Xibiao came. He set foot on this land again after half a year. Fan Jinjia and Feng Jianing came to the airport to pick him up. Fan Jinjia's Honda Accord had been repaired. The two of them were anxiously waiting for Feng Xibiao at the airport. Looking at the information in his hand, Fan Jinjia was very excited. If Feng Xibiao was really as powerful as the information said, then Yang Ming was definitely dead this time. Feng Xibiao, the pillar of the Hell boxing arena in the southern V city. Since his debut, he had fought 162 different matches and won all of them. He had not lost a record so far. Feng Xibiao was like his name. He looked very fierce and his body was very burly. He was 183 centimeters tall and weighed 78 kilograms. He was good at straight punches. His strength was amazing. His opponents who had fought with him often fell to the ground after being hit by his straight punches. Some of them even died on the spot. Feng Xibiao didn't like to play tricks. He often finished the battle with a few punches. Even if he encountered a difficult opponent, he still maintained his routine and went straight until the opponent was on the ground. Is that Feng Xibiao? Fan Jinjia saw a man in black coming out of the airport's arrival exit. It was the same as what Feng Xibiao said before, but there were some differences between him and the photo. Feng Jianing and Fan Jinjia had seen Feng Xibiao's photo on the internet, but when they saw Feng Xibiao in person, they realized that Feng Xibiao was much fiercer in person than in the photo. Uncle? Feng Jianing couldn't believe it. The real person was much stronger than in the photo. Is that you? Why, little Ningzi, don't you recognize me? Didn't you see my photo? Feng Xibiao laughed and said, do you think I'm stronger than in the photo? Yeah, uncle, I almost didn't recognize you. You're so much more agile than in the photos. Feng Jianing grinned. That's a photoshopped photo used by the boxing field to confuse the opponent. They photoshopped me to make me look thinner and weaker so that the opponent would underestimate me. When I appear, the opponent will be shocked by me. Feng Xibiao laughed. So that's how it is. Feng Jianing nodded. Uncle, let me introduce you. This is Fan Jinjia, Brother Zhe, my boss. Oh, hello, Brother Zhe. Feng Xibiao glanced at Fan Jinjia and said lightly. Brother Biao, I'm counting on you this time. Fan Jinjia was overjoyed when he heard Feng Xibiao calling him Brother Zhe. Feng Xibiao really gave him face. Hee, since you can afford the price, I will naturally do my best. Feng Xibiao nodded and said, is the money ready? It's ready, Brother Biao. Don't worry. I'll transfer the money to you as soon as you enter the arena, said Fan Jinja. Okay, then it's settled. Feng Xibiao didn't believe that Fan Jinja dared to lie to him. Brother Biao, get in the car. Fan Jinja and Feng Jioning let Feng Xibiao into his Honda Accord and helped Feng Xibiao put his luggage in the trunk of the car. This is your car? It's not bad. Feng Xibiao glanced at Fan Jinja's car and thought, this kid is quite rich. It seems that there won't be any mistakes this time. Yes, this car was hit before, so it's not in good condition. I killed that little idiot Yang Ming, so I'll change to another car to celebrate. Fan Jinja was very pretentious in order to show off his strength. He said forcefully. Hee, don't worry about this. Isn't he just a college student? He's just a piece of trash in my hands. Wait for me to kill him. Feng Xibiao said indifferently. He didn't put Yang Ming in his eyes at all. He's just a college student. How powerful can he be? Can he be more powerful than those professional Muay Thai, Taekwondo, and Sanda retired masters? It's simply impossible. If there was, then he wouldn't stay in the university and be an ordinary college student. He would have been awesome all over the world. That's great. I'll leave this matter to you, Brother Biao. You must beat him until he pisses in his pants. Fan Jinja quickly smiled flatteringly. With such a legendary person helping me, it seems that I'll definitely win this time. A big stone in Fan Jinja's heart finally fell. Although Fan Jinja was very happy after getting a positive answer from Feng Jioning, he was still a little worried before he saw Feng Xibiao's people coming. In the blink of an eye, it was the day of Fan Jinja's battle with Yang Ming. This morning, in the gymnasium of Songjiang Industry University, it was already crowded. Many students even came in the middle of the night to reserve seats in order to watch Yang Ming's performance. Although Yang Ming did not appear often in school, he was very popular. Since the first battle with the Taekwondo club's vice president, Yang Ming's reputation had spread throughout the campus. However, there were not many students who went to watch at that time. Only a few people saw the video of that time on the campus forum. They regretted not being there in person. Therefore, Yang Ming's martial arts performance attracted a lot of attention at the school's art festival. That performance was also a challenge, which made Yang Ming's popularity reach the peak. Everyone wanted to continue watching Yang Ming's performance, but Yang Ming seemed to have disappeared. He almost never appeared in school. Many people even wanted to see Yang Ming, but unfortunately, they found that Yang Ming was neither in class nor in the dormitory. Therefore, once this challenge was posted in the campus forum, Yang Ming's popularity was pushed to the peak again. Especially after Yang Ming's response, everyone was looking forward to this challenge. Everyone thought that Fan Jinja was a fool. Yang Ming was so famous. In school, so many people who wanted to challenge Yang Ming ended in failure. How could Fan Jinja beat Yang Ming? Was he better than the Taekwondo club's vice president? How was this possible? If he was really so powerful, how could Fan Jinja's name be so unknown? Those who trusted him had already searched for Fan Jinja's information. He was a student in the graduate class of the economics department. He ran a company outside of school and usually drove a Honda Accord to go to school. He was one of the young masters with a lot of money. Before this, there was no news of him fighting with anyone, nor did he have any big conflicts with others. How could such a person have the capital to challenge Yang Ming? Chapter 1930. As a result, no one was optimistic about Fan Jinja. They all felt that this person was simply stupid. He actually challenged Yang Ming. Can he win? Moreover, the reason for the challenge was actually for a woman named Zhao Ying. Is this a way to chase a girl? If the girl likes you, you can capture her heart without a challenge. If she doesn't like you, it is useless no matter how you challenge her. If you have the time to attack your love rival, you might as well study how to pick up girls. Therefore, in this stadium, most people came for Yang Ming. As for Fan Jinja, his popularity in school was not very good, and he did not have many friends. Except for a few people whom Feng Jiu could spend money to hire for him, there was no one else. Zhao Ying naturally came as well. Since this matter started because of her, there was no reason for her to escape. Although this feeling of being the center of attention made Zhao Ying a little uncomfortable, she still wanted to come. In any case, Yang Ming accepted the challenge. He came for her. How could Zhao Ying not come to watch in person? Yan Yan, I'm a little nervous. Zhao Ying whispered to Wang Xiaoyan next to her. Xiao Qing was a school teacher. Naturally, it was impossible to accompany Zhao Ying to watch this kind of game. It would cause a sensation in the school. As for Sun Jia, although she was reluctant to leave Yang Ming, she still had company matters to attend to in Donghai, and Yang Ming also had his own things to do. It was impossible for him to accompany Sun Jia alone. Therefore, Sun Jia simply returned to Donghai and waited silently for Yang Ming to come back. Sun Jia was a very strong woman, so she was naturally very selective when it came to finding a boyfriend. After having sex with Yang Ming for the first time, although she was somewhat unwilling to admit it, this matter more or less interfered with Sun Jia's choice of a spouse. Even if Sun Jia's sexual orientation changed because of the injury of her first love, this actually could not change Sun Jia's view of chastity. Although she had messed around with Xiao Qing, that was a matter between women. It was her first time with a man. So in any case, it could not change the fact that Yang Ming was her first and only man. Although Sun Jia did not admit it, Sun Jia's heart was still inclined to Yang Ming. In terms of choosing a spouse, she also used Yang Ming as her standard. When she put on a filter, she felt that no man around her was better than Yang Ming. Deep in her heart, she had already regarded Yang Ming as the only candidate for the best boyfriend, but with Sun Jia's character, she was unwilling to admit it. So, she used the excuse of testing Yang Ming again and again to reject Yang Ming. However, if she really rejected him, how could she let Yang Ming have that kind of relationship with her again and again? If she wanted to avoid it, with Sun Jia's cleverness, she could completely avoid such things from happening. She didn't even have a chance. In fact, although Sun Jia said that she was unwilling many times, in fact, she had sex with Yang Ming half-heartedly. Sun Jia also stood up to help Yang Ming again and again. Until one day, Yang Ming could hold up the sky by himself and help her in turn. Sun Jia felt that she seemed to be playing a female-oriented nurturing game. She watched Yang Ming grow up little by little and walk to the peak of his life and career. At this time, Sun Jia also completely opened her heart and gave herself to Yang Ming. However, what she didn't expect was that Yang Ming would leave soon. He was going to perform a very dangerous mission. It was hard to say whether he could come back or not. To be honest, Sun Jia was very worried. Out of selfishness, she didn't want Yang Ming to leave. It wasn't easy to find her own happiness. How could she watch her happiness leave? However, Sun Jia was a person who saw the big picture. She knew that Yang Ming must have his own reasons for going to Yunnan this time. Since Yang Ming had already decided, then what reason did she have to stop him? Moreover, if she thought about it from another perspective, wasn't Yang Ming's departure this time a kind of experience for Yang Ming? Which part of Yang Ming's growth wasn't gained through dangerous experiences? Recalling the things that happened to Yang Ming along the way, none of them were not extremely dangerous. Although this time might be more dangerous, if Yang Ming came back safely, he could be more mature. Sun Jia also hoped that Yang Ming would become more powerful, so even if she was worried, she didn't show it. When Yang Ming left her apartment, she once again devoted all her energy to work. Sun Jia wanted to quietly wait for Yang Ming's return while working hard. At that time, Sun Jia wanted to make X Island into a paradise on Earth. In this way, Yang Ming could settle down on X Island with everyone without any worries and live a happy life of plowing and weaving. This was also the direction that Sun Jia had been working hard towards. Of course, she buried these words in her heart. She didn't even say it to Xiao Qing and Zhao Ying, who were closest to her. What's there to be nervous about? Yang Ming won't lose. Wang Xiaoyan was full of confidence in Yang Ming. No matter how strong this Fan Jinzhe was, he would probably be defeated by Yang Ming in one move, so she was not worried about the result of today's game. However, Zhao Ying was not as calm as Wang Xiaoyan. She was still a little worried. Since Fan Jinzhe can challenge Yang Ming, he should have some tricks up his sleeve, right? He is also a student in the school. How can he not know that Yang Ming once defeated the president of the Taekwondo club? This is not a secret. He should have investigated it beforehand, right? This is true, but what can he do even if he is prepared? Wang Xiaoyan smiled disdainfully. She had also watched the video of Yang Ming accepting the challenge of the president and vice president of the Taekwondo club. It could be said that Yang Ming was just playing with children. He didn't use his real skills at all. Even so, he could already play around with the president and vice president. How can this Fan Jinzhe surpass Yang Ming? Obviously, it was impossible. However, Wang Xiaoyan did not tell Zhao Ying the specific reason because Yang Ming's identity was still a secret. Only he knew the identity of the assassin. I hope Yang Ming doesn't lose. Zhao Ying sighed and said nervously. You like Yang Ming, so you should have confidence in Yang Ming instead of sighing. Look at me. Am I not nervous at all? Wang Xiaoyan shrugged. Ying, you are too overcautious. Your character is actually not good. You are hesitant in everything you do. You have no courage at all. Look at your relationship with Yang Ming. How complicated was it? Have you ever thought that you are the one who caused all this? Chapter 1931. Zhao Ying was tongue-tied by Wang Xiaoyan's words. Think about it carefully. You used to care about me and Chen Mengyan. You cared about this and that. But now that you are really with Yang Ming, have you changed anything? Wang Xiaoyan asked. I am still your good friend. This has not changed. Chen Mengyan still doesn't know about your relationship with Yang Ming. This has not changed. From the beginning to the end, nothing has changed. The only thing that has changed is your heart. You boldly took this step, and life has become completely different. Zhao Ying lowered her head and quietly listened to Wang Xiaoyan's reprimand. Yes, Wang Xiaoyan is right. Nothing has changed with my hesitant personality. The people around me are still the same. If I didn't boldly take this step, I and Yang Ming would still be the same as before, right? Yan, you are right. The only change brought by my change is my relationship with Yang Ming. I don't need to think so much. It is really too tiring. Zhao Ying sighed and nodded. It's not too late for you to figure this out now. Wang Xiaoyan pulled Zhao Ying's hand. Your own happiness needs to be fought for by yourself. Look, how much have you lost? Yang Ming is going to perform a mission soon. You two haven't consummated your marriage yet. Who knows when he will come back? This is not important. Zhao Ying's face suddenly blushed. Wang Xiaoyan didn't care about what she said, which made her feel embarrassed. As long as the two people's hearts are together, it is fine. You are right, but also wrong. In short, every time you are with Yang Ming, after doing it, you will feel that the two people's hearts are closer to each other. Wang Xiaoyan said this and felt a little funny. To tell you the truth, Yang Ming and I belong to the category of first going to bed and then falling in love. There were no feelings at all before, but slowly, there were. Don't you think it is amazing? Ah. Zhao Ying didn't know much about the love history of Yang Ming and Wang Xiaoyan. Wang Xiaoyan didn't talk about it in detail. Every time, it was very vague and perfunctory. Zhao Ying didn't ask much about other people's privacy, so she didn't know that Wang Xiaoyan and Yang Ming were actually together like this. In fact, there is nothing wrong with this. Wang Xiaoyan stretched. I feel very happy. No matter what happened in the beginning, I really feel good now. Then, aren't you worried about Yang Ming leaving this time? Zhao Ying felt that Wang Xiaoyan's mentality seemed to be very good. She didn't feel sad that Yang Ming was leaving. Worried? What is there to worry about? I have confidence in him. What difficulties can be difficult for him? Wang Xiaoyan was actually very worried before, but she thought it through, so she didn't worry anymore. Yang Ming's profession was an assassin, and he was the king of assassins. Which mission wasn't dangerous? Thinking about the missions that she had performed before, they weren't so easy. In Macau, in Africa, which one of the missions with Yang Ming didn't experience life and death? So, for people who have experienced life and death, everything was fleeting. In the past, such a difficult time had passed. What was there to worry about in the future? Wang Xiaoyan felt that Yang Ming would definitely be able to pass it safely. When you say so, I feel that it is nothing. Zhao Ying nodded, and her gloomy mood was a lot more cheerful. I should also believe in Yang Ming. He will definitely be able to do it. Of course, he can do it. Otherwise, how can there be so many women? Wang Xiaoyan made a joke. Oh, you haven't tried it yet. Naturally, you don't know if he can do it. Wang Xiaoyan regarded Zhao Ying as a close friend, so she didn't mind making some jokes. The friendship between the two people had been for many years. Before she had a boyfriend, they had always rented a house together. Their relationship was very good. Now that they were married to the same man, there was no gap. Some jokes could be said naturally. Yan, why are you speaking like a rogue? Zhao Ying's face was redder. Hee, I heard that boys like to have a threesome. I can try it in the future. I can't mix with Chen Mengyan and the others, so I can only mix with you. Wang Xiaoyan teased. Aya, if you continue this topic, I won't listen anymore. Zhao Ying was embarrassed and covered her ears. At 9:00 in the morning, Yang Ming appeared on time at the gymnasium of Songjiang Industry University. The entire gymnasium had been turned into a martial arts arena under the arrangement of the student union in advance. In the center of the gymnasium, a huge banner had been hung. Economics graduate student Fan Jinja challenges martial arts master Yang Ming in a friendly match. Before Yang Ming's name, the words martial arts master were deliberately added, which showed the difference between him and Fan Jinja. In other words, even the student union was optimistic about Yang Ming. They also felt that Yang Ming would win. After all, Fan Jinja was too unknown. Everyone had never heard of this person. Not to mention the students in the school, even the students in the economics department did not have much contact with the graduate students. As for the graduate students themselves, no one knew him except for Fan Jinja's classmates. Of course, Fan Jinja's underling, Feng Jioneng, had hired a lot of people to spread out in the auditorium of the gymnasium in advance. They had Fan Jinja's posters and slogans in their hands, ready to show them when Fan Jinja showed his prowess. As for the friendly match, everyone knew that this kind of battle would definitely be fought to the death because Fan Jinja challenged Yang Ming for a woman. How was this a friendly match? It was a desperate fight. Look at the bet he made. He said that whoever lost would leave Zhao Ying, would not be allowed to contact Zhao Ying in the future, and would not wear clothes and run around the school naked. How was this a friendly match? It was simply forcing people into a dead end. This was equivalent to losing face in the school. Even if they did not transfer to another school in the future, they would have to lower their heads and endure the ridicule of other students. However, the student union had to add the words, friendly match, for the sake of face. It was also to deal with the school leaders and the teachers of the physical education department. Otherwise, who would lend you a venue? Why would you provide a venue for students to fight? Are you kidding me? Under the banner of the friendly match challenge, there were some introductions to Yang Ming and Fan Jinja. Of course, there were more introductions to Yang Ming, including photos of him defeating the president and vice president of the Taekwondo club, and photos of Yang Ming's martial arts performance at the school's art festival. In short, everyone was optimistic about Yang Ming. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the friendly match between Fan Jinja, a graduate student in the economics department, and the martial arts master, Yang Ming. Feng Jianing spoke. Chapter 1932. Feng Jianing became the host of this competition through Fan Jinja's relationship with the student union. Fan Jinja donated a lot of money to the student union so that his friend in the student union could get the host position for Feng Jianing. The audience naturally did not know that Feng Jianing was Fan Jinja's man. They thought that he was really the host invited by the student union. So, after Feng Jianing finished speaking, the audience applauded. They were looking forward to Yang Ming, so they were naturally very enthusiastic about the host. Please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Feng Jianing. You can call me Brother Neng. I am the host of this martial arts challenge. Feng Jianing said, now, our players are in place. The competition is about to begin. Please welcome our players with a warm round of applause. Wow. There was a warm applause from the audience. They were all looking forward to Yang Ming's appearance. First of all, the player on the stage is Fan Jinja's representative team, Fan Sibiao. He is also a graduate student of XX University. This time, he is representing Fan Jinja. Feng Jianing changed Feng Sibiao's name to Fan Sibiao so that others would not suspect his identity. He also gave him the title of a graduate student so that others would not think that Fan Jinja found someone from the underworld and violated the rules. They were all graduate students from other universities. They were just representing Fan Jinja, so this was also a cover-up. However, even so, the students below were a little unhappy. Isn't it Fan Jinja's challenge? Why is there another Fan Sibiao? Is there still a need to ask for external help? Isn't this too much of a scam? It can't be like this. Scam? Isn't it Fan Jinja? How did it become Fan Sibiao? Yeah, did Fan Jinja send out the challenge letter and find out that Yang Ming was too powerful, so he did not dare to accept the challenge, so he asked for external help? This is also against the rules. It is obviously Fan Jinja's challenge. Why did he bring a substitute? Where is that coward Fan Jinja? Hurry up and come out. Let him fight by himself. Everyone, please calm down and listen to my explanation. Feng Jiao had expected this situation a long time ago. After all, Fan Jinja was not going to appear personally, but Feng Sibiao was going to appear on his behalf. Hence, he had to explain. When Fan Jinja posted the challenge letter on the internet, he only said that he wanted to challenge Yang Ming. However, he did not say whether he wanted to challenge Yang Ming personally or ask his friend to challenge him. If you don't believe me, you can see what the challenge letter looks like. After Feng Jiao finished speaking, the students below were a little upset. Why is the host speaking up for Fan Jinja? What was going on? Don't you know that everyone likes Yang Ming? However, there were some students who believed him. They logged into the school's forum through the stadium's wireless signal and found Fan Jinja's post. Sure enough, Fan Jinja's post clearly stated that he wanted to challenge Yang Ming, but he did not mention who was going to challenge Yang Ming. This was a complete word game. Everyone despised Fan Jinja's petty approach. You can't beat Yang Ming, so you just found a random person to replace you. You even said that you wanted to challenge Yang Ming. What's the point of choosing? You're a complete coward. Fan Jinja, coward. Fan Jinja, despicable. Fan Jinja, come out and accept your death. The students were very emotional. Most of them were Yang Ming supporters. They wanted to see Yang Ming show his power and beat Fan Jinja until he was rolling on the ground. They were not optimistic about Fan Jinja, but now, there was an inexplicable Fan Sibiao, so the students were a little worried. Since this person was invited by Fan Jinja, he must have some strength. Otherwise, Fan Jinja would not invite him. Why did he invite someone to fight? Why didn't he invite the best? Although everyone was very confident in Yang Ming, Fan Jinja came prepared. Seeing his challenge on the campus forum, he seemed to be full of confidence. Everyone was even more worried that Yang Ming would lose. Yang Ming was strong, but he was also an amateur player. Although he defeated the campus Taekwondo club's president and vice president, everyone knew how strong a school's Taekwondo club could be. It was far worse than a professional player. Yang Ming won against them, but it did not mean that he could be comparable to a professional player. Although the host, Feng Jioneng, said that Fan Sibiao was also a graduate student of some university, who could prove it? From his appearance, this Fan Sibiao did not look like a student at all. He had a strong body and a mature face. He looked like a person in his 30s. How could he be a student? However, although everyone was suspicious, there was no evidence. They could only be angry and insult Fan Jinja. Presumably, everyone is here to watch the competition, not to argue about these meaningless rules, right? Feng Jioneng frowned. He did not expect the students below the stage to be so agitated. He quickly interrupted them. If you don't want to watch, you can leave. Our organizer has already approved this practice. Do you have any different opinions? You despicable person. This host and that idiot Fan Jinja are on the same side. Get off, get off. Get off. Okay, everyone, stop arguing. Since the competition has not started yet, the decision is in Yang Ming's hands. If he agrees, why are we in such a hurry? At this time, some of the supporters that Feng Jioneng could find began to take effect. They stood up and began to speak in favor of Fan Jinja. That's right, let Yang Ming decide. If Yang Ming doesn't dare to compete, then don't compete. Yeah, even if there is a change, if Yang Ming is so powerful, he will continue to compete. If he is afraid, he can withdraw. Yeah, if he is afraid and timid, he can choose not to compete. What's the big deal? These people began to mock Yang Ming. However, it had to be said that their words were the truth. The competition had not started yet. The decision was in Yang Ming's hands. Yang Ming's decision was Yang Ming's business. What did it have to do with others? However, it had to be said that these people were very mean. If Yang Ming withdrew, then the responsibility would not be that Fan Jinja had changed, but that Yang Ming was afraid, timid, and did not dare to compete. They said it lightly. What's the big deal if he did not compete? However, for Yang Ming, withdrawing at the last minute would give Fan Jinja an excuse to attack. That was, Yang Ming was bullying the weak and was afraid of the strong, so he withdrew at the last minute. When I challenged him, Yang Ming readily agreed. Now that there was a change, he did not dare to compete. He was simply a coward. Chapter 1933. Therefore, as long as these supporters stood up to support, the situation would change. Whether Yang Ming participated in the competition or not, they would have an excuse to attack Yang Ming. It seems that the opinions of the students are not unified. Feng Jioneng said with a smile, but I agree with what these students said. The competition has not started yet. Whether to compete or not is completely up to Yang Ming. If he says to compete, then why are you worried about him? If he says not to compete, then wouldn't you be worried for nothing? Feng Jioneng's words completely shifted the responsibility to Yang Ming, as if all this was caused by Yang Ming. It had nothing to do with Feng Jioneng and Fan Jinja. Whether it was right or wrong, Yang Ming was responsible for it. Although Feng Jioneng's words were a bit twisted and were suspected of influencing public opinion, the students under the stage heard Fan Jinja's words and felt that this was indeed the case. The decision was in Yang Ming's hands, so why should they worry? Thinking of this, these students also temporarily quieted down. Under the stage, Zhao Ying and Wang Xiaoyan. Yan, this Feng Jioneng is too bad, right? He completely influenced everyone's thoughts. If someone else were to compete with Yang Ming, they would still be in the right? Zhao Ying was unwilling. If it was Fan Jinja, she would not be so worried. After all, Fan Jinja's physique was there, and he had been tricked by Yang Ming several times. His fighting strength was also very ordinary. On the way to Donghai, Fan Jinja had been repaired at the car repair shop. It seemed that he did not know how to fight at all. At the entrance of the villa in Donghai, he was also beaten up by Yang Ming's driver, Little Wang. He did not even have the strength to fight back. Therefore, although Zhao Ying was not 100% assured that Fan Jinja would challenge Yang Ming, at least she was still confident. But when she saw the burly Fan Xibiao on the stage, she was a little uneasy. Oh, I was wondering how Fan Jinja dared to challenge Yang Ming. It turns out that he had a backup plan. Wang Xiaoyan looked at Fan Xibiao on the stage with some contempt and said faintly. From Fan Xibiao's physique, Wang Xiaoyan could see that Fan Xibiao was a person who relied entirely on his physical strength to win. It was undeniable that his body was quite strong, and his strength was definitely very great. However, such a person was still capable of underground boxing and the ring. However, in Wang Xiaoyan's view, Fan Xibiao was an instant kill for Yang Ming. I can't kill him in one blow. If Yang Ming attacks, this Fan Xibiao will be killed in one blow. Therefore, Wang Xiaoyan was not worried that Fan Jinja would change to someone else. It would be the same no matter who he changed to. Yang Ming's current enemy had already been upgraded to the kind of big boss that even agents would have a headache. This kind of small character was not even enough for Yang Ming to practice. But, he looked so strong. Can Yang Ming handle it? Zhao Ying was a little worried. Don't forget Yang Ming's identity. Wang Xiaoyan said faintly, didn't he tell you? You mean Yang Ming's identity as an agent? Zhao Ying was slightly stunned. Since Yang Ming's superiors decided to let Yang Ming carry out that dangerous mission, they naturally took a fancy to Yang Ming's skills. If Yang Ming can't even handle such a big guy, then Yang Ming's superiors might as well send such a big guy. Why would they let Yang Ming go? Wang Xiaoyan said with a smile, even Fan Jinja can invite someone. Do you think that Yang Ming's superiors can't find such a person? Yeah, Yan, you're right. Why didn't I think of it? At this moment, Zhao Ying was suddenly enlightened. Since Yang Ming was an agent and had to carry out a very dangerous mission, his skills must be quite good. Otherwise, Yang Ming's superiors wouldn't have appointed Yang Ming to carry out this mission. Although this Fan Xibiao looked strong, he shouldn't be that powerful. Otherwise, Wang Xiaoyan was right. If Fan Jinja could find someone, how could Yang Ming's superiors not be able to find someone like that? If he was really better than Yang Ming, then he could just find such a person to carry out the mission. Why did he need to find Yang Ming? You are just too worried about Yang Ming. You are so worried that you are confused. Wang Xiaoyan shook her head, you just fell in love with him. It is normal to be worried about him. I have been with him for a long time. It can be said that I know Yang Ming very well, so I am not worried. And, then don't laugh at me. Zhao Ying was a little embarrassed. How can it be? Wang Xiaoyan shook her head, everyone has this stage. I was also worried about Yang Ming. Wang Xiaoyan remembered the days in Vietnam and Africa with Yang Ming. Wasn't that also soul-stirring? Especially when Yang Ming braved the rain of bullets. At that moment, Wang Xiaoyan was worried to death. But the matter was over. Wang Xiaoyan also figured it out. Since he is an assassin, how can there be no danger? And with Yang Ming's extraordinary skills, there should be no problem. Under the stage, on the other side of the stands, Chen Mengyan, Lin Jiyun, and Zhou Jiejia also came to the stadium early in the morning. They also came to watch Yang Ming's last public appearance in the school before he left. Sitting next to the three of them were Zhang Bin, Zhao Sisi, and Wang Mei. Obviously, Zhang Bin had settled the relationship between Zhao Sisi and Wang Mei. In this way, his underling was quite similar to Yang Ming's style as a boss. In fact, Zhang Bin had always felt that being Yang Ming's underling was very prestigious. The good things and women that he got were not as good as the boss, but they were much better than the antagonist. Of his two girlfriends, one was not very good looking, but at least she was a virgin. The other one was pretty good, but not a virgin. Although each had its flaws, overall, it was still very good. Moreover, he had two wives, which was much better than the average person. Looking at the characters like Wang Jitao and Yang Ming, although they seemed to be very badass, in the end, weren't they still finished goods? Therefore, Zhang Bin felt that his underling was good. When something happened, the boss would come to his rescue. When he was bullied, the boss would stand up for him. Even if it was the company, the boss would send it to him. Although overall, he was still a level lower than the boss, compared to others, he was quite badass. Sister Meng Yan, that Fan Jinjia, how did he get such a burly man? Will there be any problem? Lin Jiyun saw Fan Sibiao on the stage and couldn't help but worry. It shouldn't be. Don't forget, Yang Ming is a special agent. Chen Mengyan was still very confident in Yang Ming. At this time, even if she was not confident, she had to give her sisters enough confidence. Who asked her to be the main wife? Chapter 1934. Yeah, boss is an agent. That's really badass. His skills are quite powerful. When we were in Las Vegas, it wasn't an exaggeration to say that he could defeat 100 people by himself. Zhang Bin had seen Yang Ming's skills, so he naturally knew how powerful Yang Ming was. And I also think that Yang Ming is very powerful. Zhou Jiejia whispered. Oh. What's so powerful about him? Chen Mengyan glanced at Zhou Jiejia and whispered teasingly. Since that day, the relationship between the three of them had taken another step forward. Although it was very good before, there was still privacy between individuals. Chen Mengyan and Lin Jiyun might not have that between them anymore, but with Zhou Jiejia, she always felt that they were not so close. However, with the naked meeting of the three of them that day, the last barrier disappeared. Now, the three of them could be said to be super good friends. There was nothing that couldn't be said, and there was nothing to avoid. The three of them had already discussed that in the days when Yang Ming was away, they would sleep together every night, support and love each other, and wait for the day when Yang Ming came back. Zhang Bin naturally couldn't hear what Chen Mengyan whispered. He still said excitedly, in a while, Brother Yang will appear, and then he will show his power. This Fan Sibiao, I think he is just a showman. He looks a little strong, but in fact, he is nothing. Zhang Bin's voice was a little louder, and it was heard by a student in front. The student turned around and sighed, although you want Yang Ming to win, this time, I'm afraid there isn't much hope. It's good that Yang Ming isn't injured. Oh. Why do you say that? Zhang Bin was stunned. He frowned and looked at the student in front of him with some dissatisfaction. This person slandered his own boss. Zhang Bin naturally didn't have a good face for him. You don't know. This Fan Sibiao isn't called Fan Sibiao at all. He is actually called Feng Sibiao. The student also frowned and said, he is a boxer in the underground boxing in the southern V city. He specializes in underground boxing and is known as the Underground Boxing Emperor. Ah. How do you know? Zhang Bin was stunned. He didn't expect Fan Sibiao to have such a background. I'm a boxing enthusiast. On some boxing forums, there are also some videos of underground boxing matches. I've watched a lot of underground boxing matches, and this Feng Sibiao left a deep impression on me. That's why I thought he looked familiar just now. I used my phone to search on the internet and found that this Fan Sibiao is indeed Feng Sibiao. The student picked up the phone and put the screen in front of Zhang Bin. Look for yourself. Zhang Bin quickly took the phone and looked at it. Chen Mengyan and the others also came over. However, at first glance, Zhang Bin, Chen Mengyan, and the others turned pale with fright. Feng Xibiao, the pillar of the Hell boxing arena in V City in the south. Since his debut, he has fought 162 different matches and won all of them. He has never lost a single match. Feng Xibiao was 183 meters tall and weighed 78 kilograms. He was good at straight punches. His strength was amazing. His opponents who had fought with him often fell to the ground directly after being hit by his straight punches. Some of them even died on the spot. Feng Xibiao didn't like to play tricks, and usually settled the battle with a few punches. Even if he met a difficult opponent, he still maintained his routine, going straight to the point until he beat the opponent down. The information was very scary. It described Feng Xibiao as an extremely terrifying existence. This information, is it all true? Zhang Bin widened his eyes. Of course, it's true. Why would I lie to you? The student also shook his head. I also think highly of Yang Ming, but these people are too insidious. They actually invited someone from the underground boxing arena to deal with Yang Ming. I don't know what kind of deep hatred there is. Isn't this killing? No, I have to send a text message to the boss quickly. Isn't this cheating? Zhang Bin was anxious. He quickly took out his mobile phone to send a text message to Yang Ming. However, before he could send it, he saw that Chen Mengyan had already taken out her mobile phone and dialed Yang Ming's number. Yang Ming was standing behind the scenes at the moment, watching everything that happened in the stadium coldly. Yang Ming also saw Feng Jiu leading Fan Xibiao out, but he didn't put him in his eyes. Yang Ming thought, why does this Fan Jinja dare to challenge me? It turns out that he has hired a helper. But, so what if he hired a helper? Yang Ming felt that the result was the same whether he hired a helper or not. With Yang Ming's current skills, dealing with these people was no different from playing games. Yang Ming didn't put this Fan Xibiao in his eyes at all. What made Yang Ming feel a little strange was that this Fan Xibiao seemed a little familiar. Yang Ming felt that he seemed to have seen him somewhere, but he couldn't remember it for a while. After all, Yang Ming wouldn't put such a small character in his eyes, so his impression of him was naturally not very deep. Just as Yang Ming was thinking, his mobile phone rang. Yang Ming was still in the backstage, so naturally, he could answer the phone. Yang Ming took out the phone and saw that it was Chen Mengyan calling. He smiled and picked up the phone. Mengyan, why? Do you miss me in such a short time? Yang Ming, stop fooling around. I have something important to tell you. Chen Mengyan didn't have time to joke with Yang Ming, so she said hurriedly. What's the matter? Why are you in such a hurry? Yang Ming asked with a smile. Yang Ming, don't participate in this challenge. Quickly withdraw. Chen Mengyan advised. Oh. Why? Yang Ming was stunned and asked. Yang Ming, Fan Xibiao on this stage is not a graduate student of XX University at all. His original name is not Fan Xibiao. Chen Mengyan told Yang Ming the content she saw before. His original name is Feng Xibiao. He is the pillar of the Hell boxing field in the southern V City. Oh, it's him. I remember who he is. Yang Ming heard the name Feng Xibiao and heard the information that Chen Mengyan said. He finally remembered who this Feng Xibiao was. Ah. Yang Ming, do you know him? Chen Mengyan was also stunned. I can't say that I know him. He is just a small character, not worth mentioning, Yang Ming said faintly. Mengyan, are you worried about me because of this? Yeah, of course, I am worried. The opponent is an underground boxer. I am afraid that you can't handle it. Chen Mengyan said. Hee, don't worry. Don't forget what your husband is. I am an agent. I can't handle a small underground boxer. How can I carry out those dangerous missions? Yang Ming said with a smile, that is not only a joke with my life, but also a joke with the safety of my teammates. Believe me, how can I do those things that I am not sure of? Chapter 1935. Then I believe in you. You have to be careful. After listening to Yang Ming's confident words, Chen Mengyan was finally relieved. Since Yang Ming said so, he must have full confidence. Then, what do I have to worry about? Moreover, Yang Ming also said that he knew this Feng Xibiao. Then, I don't have to worry about it. Know yourself and know your enemy to be victorious. Yang Ming understood his opponent, so he would naturally act according to his ability. Don't worry. I won't do something that is beyond my ability. Yang Ming said, you tell Sister Lin, Jejia, and Zhang Bin not to worry. I have no problem dealing with this person. Okay, I will tell them. Chen Mengyan nodded and hung up the phone. How is it? What did the bro say? Zhang Bin waited for Chen Mengyan to finish the call and asked impatiently. Lin Jiyun and Zhou Jiejia also had the same thoughts, but there were other students, so they couldn't show it. However, they also looked at Chen Mengyan anxiously, waiting for her answer. It's nothing. Yang Ming said that he can handle it. He knows the underground boxing emperor, so there is no problem. Chen Mengyan said with a smile. I see. Zhang Bin listened to Chen Mengyan's words and suddenly felt relieved. If the bro says there is no problem, then there must be no problem. Lin Jiyun and Zhou Jiejia also breathed a sigh of relief. Since Yang Ming said that he could handle it, and he knew the underground boxing emperor, then there should be no problem. Yang Ming couldn't continue to fight with him when he knew that the other party was very powerful. That was not in line with Yang Ming's character at all. Yang Ming couldn't do this kind of stupid thing. However, the student who held the phone before had some doubts. Yang Ming said that there is no problem. Is it true? He can't be bragging, right? I have seen this Feng Xibiao's boxing video before. It is often a one-hit kill. The opponent has no power to fight back. How can Yang Ming be his opponent? Whether it is true or not, you will know when you see it. When Zhang Bin heard that this student didn't believe in Yang Ming's strength, he was somewhat unhappy. Which group are you on? Of course I am with Yang Ming. I am a student of our school. Why would I cheer for an outsider? Feng Xibiao. No matter how powerful Yang Ming was, he was just an ordinary student. Even if he was powerful in school, he couldn't be a match for people in society. Moreover, the other party was a professional boxer. The underground boxing arena was a place for fighting. It wasn't a joke. I am also afraid that something will happen to Yang Ming. Don't worry. You just have to wait and see. Zhang Bin remembered Yang Ming's appearance in Las Vegas and suddenly felt relieved. Well, anyway, I have said what I should say. If you don't believe me, I can't help it. When the students saw that Zhang Bin was so confident, there was no way. He shook his head. If something really happens, don't blame me for not reminding you. I won't. Zhang Bin waved his hand. You just have to watch the show. Chen Mengyan heard the student's scary words and was a little worried. But when she saw that Zhang Bin was so confident, she suddenly felt relieved. Yang Ming hung up the phone and smiled slightly. It seems that Feng Xibiao has been recognized. This kind of impersonation will be exposed sooner or later. I believe that after today, there will be a search for Feng Xibiao's real identity on the school's forum. At that time, coupled with Feng Xibiao's awesome identity and the fact that he had turned pale today, Fan Jinjia would probably be too ashamed to show his face. A master of the underground fighting arena couldn't even beat a freshman. Who would believe that? But so what if they don't believe it? This is the truth. It is impossible for others not to believe it. Yang Ming sneered. It seems that Fan Jinjia has shot himself in the foot this time. As for Zhao Ying and Wang Xiaoyan, Yang Ming also saw them. With Yang Ming's eyesight, he could see clearly in the entire stadium. He could see who came and who didn't, and who his friends and family were. Yang Ming could see all of them with his special ability. However, with Wang Xiaoyan around, Zhao Ying wouldn't be too worried because Wang Xiaoyan was very clear about her strength. It was more than enough to deal with Feng Xibiao in the underground boxing arena. It was not a problem at all. Yang Ming guessed that this was the reason why Zhao Ying didn't call him for so long. It was because she had listened to Wang Xiaoyan's persuasion, so she didn't worry too much. However, Xiao Qing's phone call came in after Chen Mengyan. Qing. Yang Ming picked up the phone. You are here too? No, I am in the office, but there is a live broadcast video on the campus TV on the campus website. I can see it. Xiao Qing said, I have been watching the live broadcast here. I saw that Fan Xibiao. Why doesn't he look like a student? He looks like a martial arts master invited by the society. Thick eyebrows, big eyes, big body, big arms, big waist. Can you handle it? Oh, of course, he is not a student. He is a boxer in the Southern Underground Boxing Arena. He specializes in underground boxing and is a little famous in V City. Yang Ming did not hide it. Moreover, the more he said so, the less worried Xiao Qing was. Since he knew so much, it could be said that he knew the enemy as well as himself. Naturally, he would not do anything rash. If he was not an opponent, could he continue to fight? Therefore, Xiao Qing was obviously stunned after listening to Yang Ming's words. What? Not only is he not a student, but he is also a black boxer in the Southern V City Underground Boxing Arena? How did such a person come to the school? Fan Jinjia is seriously violating the school rules. How can he be allowed to do so? I want to talk to Dad and expel this student. Oh, there is no hurry now. Yang Ming said with a smile, now, there are already students who suspect him and are searching for him. I believe that tomorrow, there will be a post about Fan Xibiao's true identity on the school forum. At that time, Fan Jinjia will not be able to escape. It is not too late for the school to punish him then. Then, how are you going to deal with it now? Xiao Qing was worried about Yang Ming's safety, not whether Fan Jinjia was really expelled. How to deal with it? Of course, I will cripple him. Yang Ming sneered. It doesn't matter even if I kill him. It's just that I don't want to do such a bloody and scary thing in school. It is not good to scare the students. Otherwise, in my eyes, he is already a dead man. I can kill him directly, and it won't be a big deal. Haha. You're tuning in to the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.